Prize Picks, first break.
Prize Picks in the first break. Got it.
Good morning.
I only have one ear. Is that me or you? Okay. Turns out if you plug things in, they work better. Who knew? Science.
Here, I get that everything's my fault, but I mean, come on. Sometimes every once in a while, it might be somebody else's fault.
Once in a blue moon. Once
and
in a blue moon.
This would be that blue moon.
Blue moon. Burr, burr, burr. You saw me standing alone without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Hey, everybody. Welcome in the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. It's Thursday, my dudes and dudettes. And boy, howdy, is it a big one.
Sorry I didn't help you, but I don't do backup.
Are you doing? I'll back up.
No, I'm not doing it.
So you don't do anything. I'm over here trying to like break us through to the other side, trying to take us to new heights.
I actually was waiting to hit that high part, but
I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not in my range, man.
There are people listening who have no idea about that song.
There's a soccer team in England that sings that song. That's like I don't know why that's their fight song. Manchester City, like their crowd sings it. It's one of the coolest things you'll ever see. I mean, their color is blue, and I guess because the song says blue in it.
Are they anywhere near where American Werewolf in London happened? Because that song, if I remember, was also featured in American Werewolf in London.
I do not know the answer to that. I can tell you that I have heard, not in person, I have not been to Etihad Stadium in London yet, but I guess in Manchester. I'd like to go. But if you've never heard 77,000 people singing a song like that together, it's impactful. It's impactful. What a day we have going for you today, ladies and gentlemen. The Carolina Panthers will be featured in prime time football 0 times this year. Not one game. The only team in the National Football League that caught 0, 9, nada, none primetime matchups this season. 0. So the folks in the league office, not exactly optimistic about season number 1 for Dave Canellis.
Are you surprised?
No, because no one's optimistic. I am optimistic. It's just that their definition of optimistic and mine for season 1 under Dave Canellis, very different versions of optimistic.
Here's the thing, though. They could flex into something if they got good.
Get good, boy. Get good. That's old Call of Duty chat speak right there. Get good, son.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, when a dude when you smoke a chump and then he starts griping in the group chat, you send him back with a get good, son. That's old school. That's old school smack talk. You youths out there with your Fortnite and your Minecraft, you wouldn't last an hour in the asylums that I grew up in, like Halo public chat. It was a different world back then. The stuff you said on the video game chat back in the early 20,000s, it wouldn't get you canceled. It gets you thrown in jail nowadays. That's how we used to be back when we were tough. Back in my day when we were men playing video games online at 3 a.m. When we were men. Dude, you still play video games today? What are you talking about?
I probably play twice as much as you do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
you're dropping the nerd on me?
Here's the difference. You play for fun. I'm researching. It's
show prep, Rob.
Absolutely it is. You're rolling your eyes, even though it's still the truth. Then it's the truth.
Show prep, Rob.
These are going to hurt you.
It's show prep. You just sparked something in my brain. You just sparked something in my brain because I just got a glimpse into the life of the lady friend back home when it's Thursday night and she's like, can we have date night tonight? And I'm like, no, really can't. NHL Stanley Cup Game 7. I have to watch it. It's show prep. And now I know in her head how she feels. Now I get it.
Lonzo is a superstar.
You just made my relationship life better. Great one. Because now I can connect with her when she goes, hey, it's Thursday night. Can we go on a date night? And during the football season, I go, no, babe, sorry. It's Maction night. Can't go out. Can't go out. Boise State is playing somebody. Got to stay in and watch that. It's my job.
You're welcome. Get off my couch and do a show.
All right, we got a lot to get to today. NFL schedule released yesterday. We're going to go over the schedules of the NFC South. We'll pick some over-under numbers on those, see the schedules that we like, the ones that we do not. I will say this, kind of interesting. No spot in the schedule for the Carolina Panthers where they are at home more than 2 weeks in a row or on the road more than 2 weeks in a row. They do have the Munich, Germany game in week number 10. However, the bye week for Carolina is the week after the Munich game. So you will have a game on Sunday. You will then have to get on a plane, fly across the pond, get to Deutschland, get set up, practice, get ready to go 7 days later. But you do catch the bye after Munich. So the Panthers can participate in Oktoberfest.
You did say one thing that's flawed. You said they'll be home. If last year's any indication, they're never home. Because if you look at the stands, it's always the other team's colors.
Not always. Not always. There's a couple of bad teams coming to Charlotte this year that probably won't travel exceptionally well.
Can't wait to talk about that.
Can't wait to talk about that. We are going to talk about that quite a bit, as a matter of fact, today as we look through, again, the schedule of all of the teams across the NFC South. We'll take a look at some of the other ones that we like and don't like. Here's what you got, just so we can be tossing it around in the old noodle between here and there. You open September 8th. At 1 p.m., a road trip down to the Big Easy. My New Orleans Saints hosting the Carolina Panthers in week number 1. Back home for the Superchargers in week 2. 7 days later on the road out in Sin City taking on the Raiders. Week 4, Joey Ice. The Bengals coming to town on the 29th of September. The October slate opens on the road at Caleb Williams and his Chicago Bears. It's back home on the 13th for a divisional matchup with the Atlanta Falcons. Then you do have back-to-back roadies. You go up to Washington to take on the Commanders, bums, and then out to the Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos, led by the greatest quarterback ever drafted, Bo Nix, apparently. Then you got a pair of homers to wrap up November, except for you don't. You're back home on November 3rd to host the New Orleans Saints. Then you are the home team, despite being in Munich, Germany, on November 10th, taking on the New York Giants. The 11th week will be the bye week for Carolina, coming back off the bye. Sunday, November 24th, we get Lonzo in a car headed northbound to the bank because the Kansas City Chiefs are coming to town at 1 p.m. on November 24th. We passing up a little Thanksgiving roadie to the OHIO to go watch the KC Chiefs play up in the bank.
Well, here's the thing. I'm usually on vacation that week too. So
Wait. Why would I dun when I have that right there?
Yeah. I don't know. Do I want to buy tickets or do I want to put in for a press pass? I don't know yet.
I mean, I'm not going to say that we can reach out to the boss downstairs. She usually has a box seat for us at 1 or 2 games a year, but
well, might be that might be one that the people downstairs may want to go to also. I mean,
that's true. It is the reigning, defending, undisputed NFL world champions.
You just made Ray Jr. very angry.
Sorry, New Ray. My bad, New Ray. After the Kansas City homer, you are back home on Sunday, December 1st. One of 4 games 5 games? 5 games that are not 1 o'clockers, though they are also not primetime games, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to the house. You turn around the week later, December 8th, you're on the road up at Philadelphia. Then another pair of homers back-to-back on the 15th and 22nd of December when the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals come a-calling at 1 o'clock. December 29th, the New Year's weekend game, we'll see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting Carolina, and then you wrap it up Sunday, January 5th, on the road at the ATL. The preseason begins on August 8th when the Carolina Panthers are at New England. The preseason concludes just a pair of games according to the schedule. The week 3 preseason game, August 24th, will be at Josh Allen, and the Buffalo Bills up in Orchard Park, New York. So that's the Panthers schedule early. Before we get there, what's your early thoughts? What's the knee-jerk reaction to this schedule? I will say, Zoe.
How many games do you want to go to? Because there's 2 I would like to go to.
Kansas City, obviously.
And Cincinnati.
Go see Joey B play.
Yeah, because I haven't seen Joe Burrow play in person.
I'm not either.
Yeah,
I'm not either. I would, frankly.
Should be going to watch the Panthers play, but,
There's a few games I want to go to. Obviously, I want to go see New Orleans at Carolina. That's on the list. Obviously, I want to go see Kansas City. I will say this. Get the disrespect button ready. I said on BetMGM tonight yesterday, the more I think about the Kansas City Chiefs, the more I think I'm betting the under win total this year. I really do. Especially, and I will say it hinged on one variable.
What is the under? I mean, how many games are they picked to win?
I want to say the last I looked, you guys were picked to win 12 this year. Let me look that up and confirm, make sure it hasn't moved. This is great radio because I don't know it off the top of my head. All right, pulling up the futures right now. But while I wait, while we talk about it, while we try to figure it out, the more I think about it, and I will say great when I think a lot of it is going to have to do with what happens with Rashee Rice. How long? Because I don't think it's a question of if. I do really think it is a question of when. When is Rashee Rice suspended, and how long is he suspended for? Like, do you think there's a way Rashee Rice is not suspended for at least some games this year based on the tumultuous offseason that he's had so far?
Well, he's had 2 incidents as far as we know. Yeah, he's got to be suspended for, I don't know, 6 to 8 games, maybe half the season. But Kansas City picked up a receiver who is really fast. I don't know if you knew that. Oh, don't know if he can catch yet, but if he can.
And there's your issue.
But yeah, you know what? Rashee Rice, don't know if he can catch yet.
Rashee Rice kind of balled out for you towards the end of last year.
Did he?
He was the only one catching the ball that kind of balled out for you at the end of last year.
I'm just going to say there's only one guy on the team that I'm sure can catch, and that's Kelsey.
Correct.
Everybody else dropped balls. Remember the 2 seasons ago, I think it was, where everybody was dropping balls, and Mahomes got the he's lost it, all this kind of stuff. Not that he didn't make some mistakes, but those guys were dropping balls. So, I mean, I'm just hoping the receivers they have this year can catch the ball, and I'm not counting on Rashee Rice being there, period.
My homegirl, Trista Crick last night on BetMGM tonight, which I was on at 7:20. They moved me out of my slot again. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm losing stature with the BetQL folks. I was on at 7:20 last night. I was on with Trista and Nick, and we were kicking this around a little bit. And Trista said, do you think, or Rob, does it to you feel like maybe Travis Kelce's a little checked out? Like maybe he's got one eye on the season and one eye turned towards the celebrity future that is very clearly building for him. And I said, I've actually already said that. I said it to, in fact, I brought you up. I said, my executive producer, and I did use the word executive, my executive producer, Lonzo, big KC Chiefs guy, and we've had the conversation. I have told him on the air, I think Kelce is around until the next time the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl. I think if they don't win it this year, he's done. If they do win it this year, I think he runs it one back more to see if they can go for the 4-piece. If they don't win it in 4, I think he's done. If they do, I think he comes back one more year to see if they can make history and get 5. But I think he's probably done the next time the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl. And then she said, if that is the case, if you really do feel that, for the record, I do. Speculation. Don't really have a lot to lean on other than he's getting all these other opportunities, right? The podcast is through the roof. He's got a Netflix game show that he's hosting. He's gallivanting around the world with the world's most famous woman as his GF. If he does have an eye turned towards the celebrity future, as well as an eye on the football season, she said, might he be checked out? And let's call it what it is. Last year, stop me if I'm lying here, great one, there were a few games where TK was the only reliable pass catcher that Mahomes was able to put the ball into his arms. The only one. Until Rashee Rice kind of came on later in the season, in the middle of the regular season, there were a handful of games where Travis Kelce was really the only guy that Mahomes could go to in high-pressure situations. If he's not that guy, and I'm not saying he's not going to be. I'm asking if he is not that guy this year, and Rashee Rice is suspended for any length of time. Zoe said up to half the season. If that is the case, does that not kind of spell a little bit of issue with the Chiefs unless Xavier Worthy turns out to be a machine, which I'm not convinced of yet. I think he's a little one-dimensional. It's great that you can outrun everybody, straight line speed, but in the NFL, there's always a free safety back there that's going to have a 20-yard head start on you. So if Xavier Worthy doesn't turn into a beast, and if TK is at all distracted, does that not kind of threaten the Kansas City Chiefs just a little bit and their opportunity to hit the over mark, which is 11.5? And just so we're keeping it a buck here, that is the same over-under total for the Ravens and the 49ers. The difference is the Chiefs are the only minus money bet to go over 11.5. The 49ers are even money to go 11.5. The Ravens are plus 132 to go over 11.5.
When is the last time, can you remember when you said the Kansas City Chiefs, that receiving core, man, I wish my team had that receiving core?
When Tyreek was there. That's the answer.
And it was just him.
Yeah.
It was just him. So they haven't had that, and they've won the Super Bowl without Tyreek.
You're not wrong.
I'm not. Rashee Rice, he did step it up some, but not as much as he should. He still dropped a bunch of balls and on and off the court, or field rather. And
in a court.
Yeah, well, possibly.
Got him.
Possibly. I'm not concerned about that. Since the defense has stepped it up, there's a good shot that they can make it 3. We'll see.
Over 11.5 wins? Feeling good about over 11.5 wins?
Yeah, I was looking. I think they averaged like 12 the last, under Andy. So, yeah, sure.
Wide receivers in 2021, Mecole Hardman, Tyreek Hill, Marcus Kemp, Byron Pringle. Now, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. That's a terrible Obi-Wan Kenobi. And DeMarcus Robinson.
Thank you for explaining what that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I cannot.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I cannot do an Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's out of my range. All right. So, just some knee-jerk reactions that we kicked around as the NFL released their full season schedule. Did you stay up for that? Were you tuned in for that? Were you like, let me get the S-Pen on at 8?
I just heard the Panthers schedule when you read it.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Because why would I? I mean, why do you want to watch that?
I'm a schedule release nerd.
100%. I watched AEW Dynamite. Is what I watched.
I got to catch up on that because I'm a schedule release nerd. They asked me that on BetMGM last night. They're like, "Are you a dude who said it?" I said, "Yeah." Like, I will watch the schedule release with the same importance that I'm watching Mavs Thunder. Hey, Luka's back again. I'm never doubting Luka Doncic again. Every time I say Luka's cooked, he goes and hits a triple-double and wins the game for Dallas. I'm so done with it. We got a lot to get to, boys and girls. Stick around. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
Nice picks.
That's what I thought. Be right back. Stay right there. I put in a kill date.
You didn't put the time in, though.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't change the time because I changed them to the weekends. That's my bad. Sorry.
I got it.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate reacting to yesterday's NFL schedule release for the Carolina Panthers and your teams as well. We are, of course, a city that is a melting pot of NFL fans from around the country. We'll talk about your team as well. How do you feel about it? Did the Panthers get screwed getting no primetime games? Primetime games, obviously, a major opportunity. It's an opportunity to get eyeballs on the product. It is an opportunity to potentially grow your fan base. And it's an opportunity for your team to kind of get out into the national limelight a little bit. I will tell you that having every game at either 1 or just after 4 p.m. makes it a lot easier to schedule. Just pop Sunday afternoons into your calendar. You don't have to work around it. That's nice, but did the Cats get screwed here, or is this just a consequence of being, let's say, mismanaged for the last half a decade? I'm going to say that one. I'm going to say that one. I don't think that they got screwed. I think you're the worst team in the league. Primetime games are earned. Now, I'm not talking specifically by wins, because, again, I think there are some, we talk about this all the time. Branding is important. Branding is massively important. And in terms of branding, teams like the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Giants, all these teams have major brands. Some of it is because they've won multiple straight Super Bowls.
There's another factor. I'm sorry. Star power. And
sure,
the Jets have more primetime games than any other team.
Yep.
Including Kansas City, which is very disrespectful. Who's the star for the Panthers? Yeah. I mean, if the Panthers had a big star, even though the team is down, maybe they get a primetime game.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is 100% correct. And I think that is one thing that I'm very interested to see play out, because Lonzo's nail on head right there. That's exactly correct. Star power will get you games. The Jets, shockingly, are not all that short odds to win the AFC East, which I don't understand it. I think they're going to be a good team. But I'm not inspired by the Jets to think they're jumping out to the top of a division that has the Miami Dolphins in it, that has Josh Allen and the Bills in it. I'm not inspired by the Jets. However,
see, and people who look at the team and don't look poorly at the quarterback.
No. You think that I am anti-Jets because I'm anti-Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's a phenomenal quarterback. Yeah, I think he's an idiot. Absolutely. But there's a lot of NFL guys I think are idiots that I also acknowledge are phenomenal football players that make their team better. I'm looking at the team as the whole. Who's the best linebacker for that team right now? Who's the defensive lineman that really makes a difference in a division that has Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill? These are the things I'm talking about. To say that, and I'm gonna bust you up here. You're saying I'm a superficial football fan, Lonzo, and I'm not. I'm absolutely not. There's a lot of goobers in the NFL I don't like. But I look at the team as a whole, and what about the Jets inspires you?
Jets are playing Denver. Are you watching the game?
Am I watching the game when the Jets play Denver? Is it a primetime game? Is it the best game that's on in that slot? Because I am sure.
It's the only game on. It's the only game, not necessarily prime. Well, most of their games are prime time, but let's say it's a Sunday afternoon, the only game that you can watch. You're in a place where it's the only game you can watch. Not at home.
I've watched every Thursday night football game.
Yeah, I know.
And there have been some fart sounds
coming
out of that.
We're not talking about those. We're talking about it's a Sunday afternoon. You're in a hotel somewhere. You're waiting to do something in the evening. The only game on is Jets Denver.
What city am I in?
Mexico.
What city am I in? Mexico, as in Mexico City?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you got to go at me on that. I could have said New York.
What city?
And it could have been New
Mexico.
York City. So I have to say Mexico City when it's Mexico.
Yes, because Mexico's
city,
a country. Mexico
but it's
City.
a city. It's the city of Mexico.
It's
you ask what city, so I get. So if I say
Mexico City is a city. What city?
If I
Mexico
say
City.
Columbus, do I have to say Columbus City?
No, because that's not the name of the city.
If I say Greenville, do I have to say Greenville City?
Is it called Greenville City? No, it's Greenville. It's Greenville. It's
so
Mexico
if you
City.
ask me what's
now, if I said what city am I in and you said New York,
which I just gave an example of that.
Smart ass and go, what city in New York? Because that's a state.
Well, anyway.
It's a state.
All right. So you're in Mexico.
Anyway, I'm in Mexico City. That's a city I've never been in before. No, I'm probably not, but I can also tell you, you could give me Cleveland, Washington, and I'm skipping that game too. And it's not because I dislike anybody on the team. It's because I'm in a new city I've never been. Put me in a city I've been to before. Put me in not New York City. I like New York City a lot. I really do like New York City. Put me in.
Dude, if you're in New York City, you're not in the hotel room.
That's a fact, Jack.
You're out getting wall pizza or whatever that was called.
Dude, that wall pizza was so good. If you ever go to New York and you see somebody selling pizza out of a hole in a brick wall, buy it. Buy it and eat it immediately. It's going to be the best pizza you've ever had. Put me in Cleveland.
This is my scenario. Why do you get to choose where you are in my scenario?
Because I'm trying to put me in a place.
In Cleveland, you'd be like, okay, I got some time to kill. Let's go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Put yourself in a place where I guess in Mexico City, well, you might get kidnapped, so you probably would stay in a room. I don't know.
Mexico City's a lovely city.
I've
heard great things. Yes, people go there for NFL games all the time.
Yeah, and I've heard otherwise. So, but neither one of us have been there, so we don't know what the truth is.
I mean, I know a ton of people who have vacationed in Mexico City.
If you go there and you get kidnapped, I'm going to say, see? As I'm trying to get the listeners to come up with your ransom.
The point here is, that GoFundMe is going to struggle. The point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that I do not dislike the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. I do dislike the Jets because I don't think they're that good. That's that simple.
So you don't like bald people. You don't like Robert Saleh because he's bald.
When Robert Saleh went to the Jets, he was and I was wrong about this. You hear this, other radio people? This isn't me acknowledging a mistake. I thought Robert Saleh, when he got to the Jets, was the answer. I thought he was the truth. I thought he was the guy that was taking them to the top. Turns out, maybe not.
He doesn't buy the groceries, though, does he?
Not as much as I think other coaches do.
You could blame that on Woody. Was Woody still in charge with the Jets?
I will blame it on Woody, too.
Yeah.
Harrelson specifically. Can't believe he's doing what he's doing to the Jets. Breece Hall's good. You got Garrett Wilson at the wide receiver spot. You didn't bring in Mike Williams, but who else am I going with? Alan Lazard? That's my guy. That's the guy that's carrying you to the top.
Don't you be dissing Garrett Wilson.
Tyler Conklin? What position does Tyler Conklin play? Quick, somebody tell me. My point
safety.
Exactly.
He plays safety.
He's a tight end. He's literally Rodgers' must-have guy.
All right, name a tight end on every single team. Without looking.
I can't, but I can name the ones that actually have an impact to make your teams better.
Okay. All right. Name another tight end other than Travis Kelce.
Other than Travis Kelce. I don't think the Jets are going to be that good. Got nothing to do with Rodgers. It nothing to do with it. I'm not a superficial fan. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to knee-jerk reaction. Some of the other schedules that jumped out, some that did not, and our top 10 NFL must-watch games of the season. Is there a Jets game in there? I don't know. Stick around to see how much I hate Aaron Rodgers next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
They don't have to stick around for that. They already know.
No, I cannot do a Pappy One Kenobi, but I'd be happy to have Pappy on to do a Pappy One Kenobi.
He's busy right now. Actually, he's asleep right now.
That's the correct response. Yeah. You made a joke earlier this week about how nobody listens from 6 to 7. And yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I was out watching soccer with some of the fellas, just having a whiskey and a cigar. And he said, one of my friends, he's like, he brought up something. I was like, I talked about this on the show today. And he said, when? I listened to the show today. And I said, I think like 6:30. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm never listening to 6:30. I was like, all right, fine. That I respect that. I'm barely listening at 6:30.
I've done more morning shows than I have at any other time slot. Every host I've worked with, the goofiest stuff is from 6 to 7.
Yeah.
Because nobody's listening. I mean, there's a handful. Thank you, Trey. There's a handful of people, but I mean, some of us who have to get up and go early, but the bigger audience is between 7 and 9.
Oh, man.
Hey, who's that? Balling out. Who is that?
Angel?
Wow, that's Angel Reese. We had that and what I was doing on at the same time. And there's a reason why I could never do that, because I was saying stuff purposefully, and then suddenly that stuff showed up on their spots to counter what I was saying. So everybody listens, even in the 6 o'clock hour. Well, no, maybe not in the 6 o'clock hour. Not only is the world of work, it's also psychology everywhere. So if I were to do something from somewhere else and it ended up on the show, would you think the same thing?
No, but you're on the show.
Because there's something in the works and it is a possibility. Right. So, I mean,
but
you're probably on the show, right? No, I get it, but
like you're not. How do you say outsider without sounding that mean?
Well, so it's like you're saying only people on this station should be talking on this station. And
I'm saying if you have me pimping a thing and then you have somebody coming in pimping a direct competitor.
All right. So people who don't listen to everything have no idea who that person was.
That's fair.
If you're just a sports guy, you don't know who that was.
So I want to bring this conversation up. We know now the streaming schedule, because if you want to watch all 272 National Football League regular season contests this year.
Boy, do I, especially those Jets games.
You have to be subscribed to 917,336 different streaming services to do it. It's not quite that dramatic, but it's pretty close. You've got to have, obviously, your regular cable. You've got to have Amazon. You've got to have ESPN Plus. You got to have Netflix now. You got to have Peacock. There's at least 4 that I'm aware of. Am I missing any, or is it just those 4?
Well, as far as cable goes, you could either have Dish or DirecTV too, but I guess that all falls into the same thing. You didn't say YouTube, but I don't know if does YouTube have any?
I don't think YouTube has stream exclusive this year. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think they do. I think the stream exclusive, like the only way to watch this game is by having Amazon, ESPN Plus, Netflix, and Peacock.
As far as old school streaming goes, it just seems like everybody has Netflix. I mean, out of all those.
I will tell you, and this is actually true. About 2 days ago, I had to get a new debit card. There was some fraudulent activity on my account. If I find out which one of y'all did it, I'm coming to your house and you're catching these hands. All right. But there was some fraudulent activity on my card. I had to get a new card. They issued it. Obviously, they canceled my old card, which was linked to all of my streaming subscription services. And on Tuesday, I started getting the 10,000 emails that it is incredible that when I need help from the streaming services, I got to send an email and it's like 5 to 47 business days before they can get back with me. But by gosh, if my payment method goes out of date for 17 seconds, they got all the damn time in the world to pop off a few thousand emails at me. It's pretty incredible, to be honest. If y'all put the amount of time into fixing your service and creating some good content that you do, making sure that my $7.75 a month doesn't get screwed up, every streaming service would be making a gazillion dollars a year.
Who are you paying $7.75 to?
I don't know. It's like $15.95.
I was going to say,
now,
it's
whatever it is.
Double that, yeah.
So we now know that we have a pair of Christmas games this year. Those will be on Netflix exclusive. The NFL announced that partnership will include Christmas games the next 3 years on Netflix. Peacock, NBC streaming service, had a regular season game and a playoff game last year. The playoff game between the Dolphins and the Chiefs set a record as the dumbest game I've ever watched in the snow. It was also the largest streamed event in the history of the United States of America. ESPN Plus got a game last year when the Falcons played the Jags in London in Week 4. They were given another exclusive game this season. So the NFL has roughly 90,000 broadcast partners this year. ESPN gets Monday Night Football games this year. Last season, as we mentioned, got an exclusive game on ESPN Plus. There is one more this year. It's the Chargers and the Cardinals in Week 7 as part of a Monday night doubleheader. The Ravens and the Bucks kick off at 8:15 Eastern. The Chargers Cardinals kick off 45 minutes later at 9 p.m. Eastern. There's
a game that if I'm in Mexico City, I'm not watching.
Chargers Cardinals. I don't know, man. Harbaugh's first year. What if the Chargers are 7-0 at that point?
Really, you're asking me if I want to watch a Harbaugh?
What if they're 7-0?
Yeah, they're not going to be. They will have played the Chiefs at some point in there and lost.
Here's the first question I have: why would ESPN Plus put a game on a doubleheader that pulls away from ESPN? It does. I mean, unless they're just going to present the number to the NFL as, hey, look, we can air our own competition and still keep up with your regular numbers.
It's a case study, but I would have picked a better game to do that, though.
NFL takes over this Christmas when it falls on a Wednesday this year. The first game on Christmas Day. Congratulations, Lonzo. Your Kansas City Chiefs are on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will follow that up with the Ravens at the Texans. Those are 4 AFC playoff teams from last season.
That's a good lineup.
That's a good Christmas Day matchup.
I mean, forget you, NBA.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to. Take that, NBA. What you got, NBA? Because there's no way you're matching that.
Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. The NBA is gonna. I promise you, the NBA season next year, they are going to give you the most possible marquee matchups. Like, we'll probably get an NBA Finals matchup on Christmas Day. If Bron comes back, we'll probably get like Lakers Knicks that day. They're gonna give you marquee, and they're gonna get their asses kicked by the NFL on Christmas Day because that's a strong NFL lineup. It is very problematic for me because this year, oh God, I hope she's not listening yet, it's Christmas with her family. And her family is not TV on Christmas Day family like mine is, which means Robbie B's got to figure out how he's going to be sneaking his phone into different aspects of the living room to keep up with these games while we're all celebrating Christmas Day. Don't tell her I said that.
I can send you some texts that you can pretend like you're actually looking at. And then while you're on the phone, let me check out the game. You know, I can do that.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. Peacock.
Over there on the Peacock.
Peacock, of course, with Mac Wahlberg. That's not true. I just needed a reason for screwing up saying Peacock. NBC streaming service gets another exclusive game. It's a good one this year. Packers-Eagles, live from Brasilia on Friday of week 1, will be on Peacock. The NFL hasn't had a Friday game in opening week since 1970. This is to give Peacock something. And then, of course, we will have Amazon, who not only has Thursday night football this year, but they will also get a playoff game that they paid $120 million for to add to the portfolio. The Thursday night games this year include Bills at Dolphins, Pats at Jets, Cowboys at Giants, Bucks at Falcons, Niners at Seahawks, Broncos at Saints, Vikes at Rams, Texans at Jets, Bengals at Ravens, Commanders at Eagles, Steelers at Browns, Raiders at Chiefs, Packers at Lions, Rams at Niners, Browns versus Bengals, and Seahawks at the Bears.
Is it still Al Michaels?
I'm going to say yes. I haven't seen anything to tell me that it's not going to be Al and Herb.
Okay. I'm still not feeling that crew. And I think Al, it's about time.
Yeah, I busted up Al a lot last season on Thursday nights because I feel like Al got that Peacock or that Amazon Prime money, and he just mails it in now.
He's kind of heading towards Pat Summerall at the end.
I honestly, and this is, maybe I'm giving him too much credit because I love the history of Al Michaels. I don't think he's getting old and falling apart. I think he's just mailing it in.
See, I think, how old is he? He's probably like in his 80s. He's pretty old. So I think it's a sign of age. I was listening to, and this is a weird comparison.
79.
Okay, I was listening to a little Coast to Coast this morning because there was some problems on the other station. And George,
is that the weird conspiracy show?
Yeah, and George Norrie sounds so old. And you can just hear it in their voices as they get older. It's going to happen to me. It happens to everybody eventually.
I will say anybody trying to sell you on there being real life aliens on the radio, probably I would question that more than Al Michaels, just so we're clear. I don't think Al's old. I think he's lazy. I think he's getting a gazillion damn dollars from his Amazon Prime. They're not going to fire him because they're paying too much. Kirk Herbstreit does the heavy lifting on Thursdays now. So basically, he just has to go run, read number, read player name, end of result. Kirk Herbstreit, take it away. Now, here's the conversation I wanted to get to with this. We have a swollen set of streaming debuts this year. We have a swollen set of streaming games this year.
You quit saying, stop saying swollen set.
Why does swollen set bother you? I made myself laugh. We have a swollen schedule of streaming exclusive games.
By the way, I didn't turn my mic on. You didn't catch it. I'm self-reporting.
Respect.
That's one.
Respect. We're having a good week this week.
Yeah, I was until that point.
You're going to fall apart down the stretch. I told you last year.
Fall apart today.
I told you last year when they announced that there would be a streaming exclusive NFL playoff game that this was on the way. This is not a shock. This should not be a shock to you. The fact that if you want to watch all 272 games, you now have to have a minimum of 4 streaming services, or at least know people who do. And I will go ahead and tell you, it's only going to get worse from here. You know why it's going to get worse? Do you know? You do, because I just told you. But just in case you weren't paying attention, let me hit on this one more time again. How much, ladies and gentlemen, I just told you just seconds ago, how much is being paid for a playoff game to be aired on Amazon Prime this year? One game. One game. How much is being paid for one game? $120 million is the price that Amazon is paying for one playoff game this year. 100. That's a wild card game too. That's not even a divisional round game. I would suspect they'll probably get twice as much for a divisional round game. You are talking the possibility of the NFL to, down the line, make $250 million for one game to be stream exclusive. $250 million for one game. Do you think that the National Football League gives a good gosh darn about you being upset that now you can't just get away with paying for one streaming service to watch all 272? You've got to pay for 4 of them. And oh, by the way, Amazon Prime Video, part of the Amazon Prime subscription, which is now $149 a year. which is, it's not asinine expensive. You're looking at $14 a month or so. I pay it, not because I love Jeff Bezos. I don't. But because having people bring my groceries to my house, I'm willing to give a billionaire more money to do that. All right? It is. My lazy overtakes my sense of self-righteousness if I can have somebody bring the toilet paper to me.
That, and you're tired of that lady checking your receipt.
Oh, God. I will give you $14 a month just to leave me alone. Granny, stop. Why is it always me? Fiance didn't believe me, by the way. We went to that place about 3 weeks ago. I'm going to tell you the funniest story in the world. This actually happened. So funny, I'm going to put away the indignation about the NFL taking more money out of our pockets to make us stream more services to watch games, even though that is very impossible, very, very aggravating. About 2 weeks ago, we went to that store. I won't mention the store in question, but if you follow me on Twitter, you know exactly what store it is. I went to that store, and as we were shopping around, great one, I swear to you, I saw that lady shopping like a normal person in the Walmart, to the point that I grabbed the fiance and pulled her over, and I'm like, listen, when you turn the corner, the lady that's down there at the end of the cat food aisle, that's her. She's like, who? I was like, that's receipt lady. Every time I come in here and self-checkout, every time I self-checkout here, that lady checks not everybody's receipt, my receipt. And I think it's because I always look happy, right? Like, I'm not an intimidating 6'3", 235. I'm a happy 6'3", 235. 235, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm like, that's the lady. I'm like, she's working here. I bet she still asked to see my receipt. And she laughed. She's like, dude, she's not working. She's not going to do that. We shopped around. All right, it's big grocery store day, big groceries day, because we're like trying to meal prep and eat healthy and all that. So we go up and down the aisles and we get our this and we get our that, and we finally go back and we get we got to go in the garden center. Got to make sure we get got the flowers and the plants. We want to go in the garden center. We come back out. We go all the way across the store. We go to the self-checkout register. We check out, I'm not joking you, 100 items, right? Because we got groceries for 2 weeks. We got plants. We got stuff for the dog and the cat. Like, we're all locked up. We finished the self-checkout. I got everything bagged. It's all in the cart, right? There's 22 bags in the cart. And as we turn to leave, dude, she's by the door in the vest, and she looks at me and goes, can I see your receipt, sweetie? And I look at the fiance, and her eyes are this big, and she laughs out loud at this. I'm like, I'm not kidding. I don't think she was scheduled to work. I think she was just there on her day off grocery shopping. She saw me, and she's like, oh, that dude's here. Let me go clock in for 6 minutes. She said, can I see your receipt? And I said, we are, because I was going to tell her, we're in a hurry. Respectfully, I don't have time for you to look through 100 grocery items when I already bought and paid for them. I said, we are. And the fiance goes, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. And hands her the receipt. I stood there for 6 minutes of my life. 6 minutes of my life while this lady went through like 22 bags of groceries, ticking off one item at a time. 6 minutes. I swear to you, she was off that day, saw me, checked in, put on the vest, checked our cart, and then I'm 90% sure when we clocked out, she went back in the back, clocked out, took her vest off, and went back to grocery shopping. I have never flipped the lid. I got in the car, I looked at her. I'm like, do you believe me now? We saw her buying cat food. We saw her buying cat food, and then she's there. Like, she met... I got to assume it's like a twin, like it's like a Bella Twins twin magic thing, right? She's got an identical sister who also works there. It's got to be. It's the only thing I can come up with.
Or she's also security, and she was watching you. She took the vest off, pretended to be shopping, and was keeping an eye on you, because that does happen in grocery stores.
Dude, I actually believe that. Yeah. This is the first conspiracy theory of Lonzo's in 4 years that I'm like, yep, that might be it.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Worked in grocery stores for a very long time, and that's how security works.
What is it about me? Is it the flat bill hat? Is that what it is? I wear a flat bill hat, so obviously I'm in there trying to rip off this multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
It's your outgoing nature that makes people think that you're trying to hide something. And I mean, it's not the quiet people who swipe things. It's the loud, boisterous people, because they're doing it right underneath their nose.
Dude, We walked out the door. I looked at the fiance and I was like, what the hell? She's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing. I saw her buying cat food. We shopped for 11-ish more minutes, went to the checkout, and she's there working. Had on the same outfit, just had her little vest on over.
Yeah, she's security. And the greatest thing out of this story that you just told was the fact that the fiance handed the receipt to her.
She knew what she was doing.
On purpose.
She knew what she was doing. She could see I don't know, like it wasn't anger. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't anger. It was like one step above that.
It's like when you see the ghost and you're the only one who sees the ghost and finally someone else sees it. You're like, see, there it is. There it's that thing.
It was partially that.
Because it's been a story until now, till she witnessed it.
It was partially that. And it was partially like, why? Why me? Lonzo, we checked out 100 items. I'm guessing roughly 4 to 6 people left the self-checkout lane and walked right past her out the door. I'm the first one she grabbed. I'm mad. I'm mad. This was 2.5 weeks ago. I'm still mad about it. Do the sports flash. I got to go take a breath.
You need to dress differently. Maybe that'll help. The Boston Celtics are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals after a 113-98 win over a shorthanded Cleveland Cavaliers team. Jason Tatum scored 25 and Al Horford added 22 for Boston. Dallas, the Mavericks, took a 3-2 series lead over Oklahoma City with a 104-92 win last night. Luka Doncic recorded another triple-double, this time with 31 points and 12 of 22 shooting, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. Dallas shot 53% from the floor on the night and connected on 14 threes. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for a brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole, Bryson, and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a whole lot of fun. And it's all, I don't know if you knew that, it's all Wire to Wire. Oh, man. Not only do we have a Jam Cam report, it's a double whammy. You missed it. We had a double whammy on the Jam Cam.
Did we really?
He said double whammy. It was amazing.
Can you throw me in queue real quick?
Here with the halftime show next, a busy action night around Major League Soccer.
A busy action night.
And the thoughts of Aaron Heitzen on the first 45 minutes. Hogan.
Stephen, you want to come coach this team? You want to come coach this team? Can't be any worse.
New life in the first break.
10-4.
I wonder, does that guy still have a job?
Been week 2
we get Kirk Cousins as a Falcon, prime time against the Eagles. Joe, what do you make of our September start?
Well, I think it's really good. I know Greeny was crying about it when the schedule came out. Oh, I know, we got it. Greeny, you're a Jets fan. We've heard it over and over again. You're scared about the matchup week 1 and the whole karma thing with Aaron Rodgers again. I think it's an awesome way for us to start. And then
come on, Troy.
Week 2 for you, Kevin. I think it's scary for us at ESPN because we know this. We're going to go into Philly with Jason Kelsey as a member of ESPN. Will we come out of Philly with Jason Kelsey as a member of ESPN? Or will they somehow...
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Radio program starts right now. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome in. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, here on a lovely Thursday morning. It has been gross for like a week, but we are back, baby. What a cool cheat sheet coming up here in just moments at 8:40. The great Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast going to join us here on the program. We will break down the Panthers' schedule with him as we continue to react to last night's NFL schedule release. Drop the whole thing, all 272 regular season matchups on us. We're going to continue to break that down, and we will look at some of the other teams around the NFC South and around the league as we do so. NBA playoffs going on last night. Luka Doncic records another triple-double as the Dallas Mavericks, 4.5-point dogs going into the game, outright winners to take a 3-2 series lead over the number 1 seed, headed back to the Big D for game number 6. Didn't need Kyrie last night. Luka Doncic was on Luka Doncic was on I forgot I had that. Been a minute. So we'll get into that here in just a couple of minutes. Dabo Sweeney in the news because Dabo yesterday got asked to his face about why the fact Clemson was the only team that did not bring in a transfer portal player. And Dabo gave an answer that was fill in the blank here.
Great. It was a great answer.
Sure. Let's go with that. Let's say it was.
They're all great answers from a certain point of view.
Yeah, for sure.
What'd you want me to say? I thought it's
corny, cheesy, goofy. Any of those would be fine.
Not out of the realm of what you expect him to do.
Also correct.
I mean,
all those things are accurate.
You know, he's just being him, and I didn't have a problem with it, but I'm sure we're going to discuss that.
We absolutely are. We'll get to all that more. I'll tell you what, I never say into a hot mic anything. Rob Brown said, I'm going to do the water cooler cheat sheet, but I can't not go with this clip. I played it for you during the break. Okay. Rob Brown learned the lesson many, many moons ago. If you are in a studio that has a microphone in it, if you are wearing a headset that the microphone is in your face, don't say anything you wouldn't say in an elevator with your boss, your mama, and the person you're talking about.
Well, I think you would talk to your boss differently than you talk to your mom, probably. But also with us and with a lot of people on the air now, you're also live on stream.
Correct.
Yeah.
Never say, for the record, never say anything anywhere that you wouldn't say in front of the person, because somebody can be recording you all the time. But especially
or in hallways where sound travels.
Also correct. Especially if you are literally wearing a headset that has a microphone on it. The radio play-by-play dude for the Portland Timbers, that is a Major League Soccer team based out of Portland, Oregon. A very popular team, by the way, one of the MLS Classics, one of the largest soccer fan bases in America. They went to halftime after a dismal first-half performance.
You mean Portland City?
No, just regular Portland. I think Portland City might be a different place. They went to their halftime show, and their color commenter, who was doing his halftime thoughts, pitched to a break, and it went like this.
Sussman here with the halftime show next. A busy action night around Major League Soccer. Get you updated on that and the thoughts of Aaron Heitzen on the first 45 minutes. All good.
Steven, you want to come coach this team? You want to come coach this team? Can't be any worse.
That's going to go over great. It wasn't even the la, 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 la. It's immediately. And by the way, I love the echoing of Timbers fans booing in the background.
They are not it's not a happy crowd. And I swear he said his name was Les Nessman. And that just threw me from the beginning. I have no idea what his name is, but it sounds a lot like Les Nessman. And if you're not old, you don't know what that is. But that's from WKRP.
Yes, I was going to get it. Right. Not only do I love, and by the way, however mean you think fans of NFL teams can be to their team, it does not touch how mean soccer fans can be to their team.
No,
okay?
Soccer people like hurt
They're
people
brutal
and kill people and stuff.
Okay,
and
not MLS fans.
Okay, well, at least you acknowledge that it has happened. So
sure.
yeah.
But my dude hitting the background producer with, do you want to coach this team? It couldn't be any worse. Phenomenal content.
He had to ask the question twice, which makes me wonder what the producer said to him. Did the producer act like he didn't hear him just to get him to say it again?
Or did he ignore him entirely so he wasn't complicit in the conversation?
That could be it.
Right?
That could be it.
There have been plenty of times I've been on air with somebody and they say something that I'm just like, I'm gonna let you do you, big dog. I'm gonna let you stand on business over there. Hey, it is 7:06 in the morning. You are 53 and a half minutes precisely away from clocking into work. And if you're gonna talk sports at your office today, you're gonna need to know what's going on. And if you need to know what's going on, you need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, "Shut the hell up," even before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It still works because he told him to shut up, and then he did a raspberry noise. That's what.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports with your coworkers this AM. Let's jump right in with item number 1. Pair of games in the NBA playoffs last night. The Boston Celtics are headed to their 3rd consecutive Eastern Conference Finals with a 113-98 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. C-Town was already outgunned in this contest, got worse when both Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen were unavailable to play in this game. You add in the fact that Damian Jones is not good, and the Cleveland Cavaliers just did not have the firepower to do anything. Evan Mobley gave it the best run he could. He knocked down 33. Marcus Morris Sr. added 25 off the bench, but nobody else really did much of anything in that game. On the flip side, you got 25 from Jason Tatum, 13 from Holiday. Derek White had 18. Jason Brown had 11. And my goodness, I'm going to say a name and you're all going to go, come on, that can't be right. Al freaking Horford had 22 in this game. That man is 37 years old. LeBron who?
Does he still play?
He does.
Oh, my gosh.
He does. He ended up last night with 22 on 50+% shooting, 8 of 15, 6 of 13 from the 3-point line. Did not go to the stripe at all. Those were all pure points. Chipped in 15 boards, 5 assists, and 3 blocks in the competition as well. The only question I have left, will the Boston Celtics have a letdown? They have not played a good series yet. They've played a good series. They have not played a good team in a series yet. They got Miami without Jimmy Buckets in round 1. They caught Cleveland, not a great team, maybe the most overrated 4 seed of all time. And the last 2 games featured not Donovan Mitchell and not Jared Allen, the leading scorer and leading rebounder on the season for that basketball team. So now we wait to see who it is they will be taking on out of the other bracket in the East, the Knicks and the Pacers. Over in the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks go up a game, 3-2 in the series over the 1-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder with a 104-92 win last night. Luka's back. Why do I continue to doubt Luka Doncic? He had a crap game last time with a triple-double. I asked that question on BetMGM tonight last night. I was like, Trista Crick, is Luka the only guy in the NBA that can have a triple-double and we call it a sloppy night? Is he the only guy in the league that can turn in a triple-double and we say it was a bad night? And she said yes, because I was right. 31 points, 10 boards, 11 assists for Luka Doncic last night. I keep waiting for Kyrie Irving to be that guy. 12 points, 5 of 11, 2 of 2 from deep, no free throws in that game, had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. That's a stat line. That's an okay stat line. Luka's having to carry this team on busted wheels, and he's doing it just fine. The Mavs find themselves in the driver's seat of this series, going to Game 6 in Dallas and pushing Oklahoma City to the brink of elimination. Just one game on tap this evening over in the West. Game 6, the Denver Nuggets on the road at the Minnesota Timberwolves. The T-Wolves 2.5 point favorites in this. The over-under set at a very low 203.5. Pick a winner. Can Denver get it done on the road, or does the Timberwolves hold serve and force a Game 7?
Yeah, it's Denver. It's done.
It's over. It's cooked. They're done.
It's over.
New York and Indiana play tomorrow night. That series currently in favor of the Knicks, 3-2. Let us go to item number 2. We're playing golf this weekend, kids. The PGA Championship set to tee off here in just about, I think 9 minutes until we get the first golfers off the tee at Valhalla. Scotty Scheffler. This may shock you. The Masters champ, favorite to win again. He is 4-1. 4-1. Do you understand in golf what a 4-1 betting line to win one of the most prestigious tournaments in the game is? 4-1. I like Scotty Scheffler. You know why I like Scotty Scheffler? Because he's boring as... He's just boring. He doesn't care. And that's a good thing. In the world of golf, there is no better golfer than the guy who does not care about the last shot and does not care about the next shot. He is just solely tuned in on this shot. And that's hard to do. It's real hard to do. Scotty Scheffler does it. What I find more intriguing, however, is the guy that has the second shortest odds to win this golf tournament. That is Rory McIlroy. The Northern Irishman is 7-1 to win his 5th major. However, it has been 9 years since Rory McIlroy won his last major. It was 2015 when he won the PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club. It was this tournament on this course 9 years ago, the last time that Rory McIlroy able to get a major. But there's a little smoke in the air around this one because Rory is getting divorced. That was announced earlier this week. Yesterday, I think it was announced.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Usually it's the exact opposite. When someone gets divorced, they do bad.
Rory jumps to the second shortest odds to win the last major that he won again 9 years later. Real intrigued by that. We will keep an eye on some of the other scores and notes. Yes, Tiger Woods is playing in this tournament because Lonzo, big fantasy and Tiger in the field. Tiger Woods will be out there coming up today. He will be off with Keegan Bradley later on in the day. Let us get to item number 3. The NFL dropped their schedule of all 272 regular season games yesterday evening. The Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and the 49ers will not occur until about the midpoint of the season, but we do have a pair of playoff rematches on opening weekend. One of them, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, when they host the Baltimore Ravens, a rematch of last year's AFC title game. That game will be on September 5th. We're also going to see the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions on Sunday night's game, September 8th. Those two playoff rematches in week 1 are amongst 9 playoff rematches from last year on this year's regular season schedule. Kansas City will travel to Buffalo in week number 2. That is kind of becoming a yearly matchup, either in the regular season or in the playoffs or both. This will be the 5th straight year that the two teams have faced off in the regular season. The Bills have won 3 straight in the regular season, but the Chiefs have won all 3 matchups in the playoffs. Matt Stafford and Jared Goff will face their former teams for the third time, including the playoffs, when they go head-to-head this year. The rematch of the NFC Championship game between the 49ers and the Lions will happen December 30th in San Francisco. That is the last Monday night game of the season. The Rams, after the Rams game, the Lions will host Tampa Bay on September 15th. That's a rematch of last year's divisional round game won by Detroit. The other playoff matches are Baltimore at Houston on Christmas Day, Philly at Tampa on the 29th of September, and a November 24th showdown between the 49ers and the Packers. So, lot of playoff rematches from last year on the schedule. We, as the show progresses, will be taking a look at the regular season schedule for the Carolina Panthers more in depth, for the New Orleans Saints, Atlanta Falcons, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFC South competition for the Big Cats, and as some of the Super Bowl favorites, picking over and under win totals for those teams as we move forward. Coming up at 8:40, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast set to join us. We'll look over the Carolina schedule with him. And then, of course, this morning at 9:20, it's Thursday. You know what that means. Fight Club with the great one Lonzo. Saturday is a real boxing match between real boxers that are really boxing each other, and not for YouTube views, but for a purse. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk are going at it on Saturday. It's all I've been looking forward to on Saturday. Well, that and the PGA Championship and the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. But you get it. Usyk, Fury, coming up on Saturday. I am sure Lonzo's going to spend the entire segment talking about the best heavyweight matchup that we've had in months. I, for one, can't wait to break that fight down in Fight Club at 9:20, because I'm sure that's what we're talking about, right? Right? The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
Live.
Quick break, guys. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Earlier in the week, I brought up a cat that put a $100 bet down on 3 champs. He selected the Texas Rangers to win the World Series. They did. He selected the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. They did. The third and final team that he selected to win a championship was the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, I asked you earlier this week, before the Dallas Mavericks took a early lead in this Western Conference semifinals, what you would do. Because the young man had an opportunity to cash out for $100,000 plus. Now, if the Thunder win the NBA championship, he would win $2.7 million. So he had a decision to make. Let it ride. And if the Thunder win the championship, he gets $2.7 million or cash out at $100K. Well, that very night, the Dallas Mavericks won a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder and took a lead in that tournament. When they took the lead in that tournament, my man's cash out option dropped down to $52,000. He decided to let it ride one more game. The Thunder won more game. They tied the series back up at 2 games apiece. Yesterday afternoon, the guy hit Instagram and he said, dudes, I'm cashing out. He got an offer for just over $82,000 as his cash out. So that means that the book was willing to pay him $82K as insurance not to ride the Thunder to an NBA championship game. He had an opportunity before game 3 to cash out for $100,000. Dallas won game 3, took a 2-1 lead. It dropped down to $52,000. Oklahoma City tied that series back up at 2 apiece in game 4. It jumped back up to 82-point-something thousand. And then he cashed out before last night's game. Now, we don't know yet if that was a good decision or not, because the Thunder are not eliminated, but the Dallas Mavericks did win last night and did push the Thunder to the brink of elimination, a 3-2 lead for Luka and his Mavs. So I suspect that his cash out option today probably would have been somewhere back in the neighborhood of like $40,000. He cashed out at $80K, great one. And in a video, I'm not going to play the audio because loved the dude. He gave us one of the most interesting rides we've been on in a long time, but he was frankly quite boring. He did say, I'm a single dad, and $82K is a life-changing amount of money for me right now. He said, I got to take the money. As much as I would love to keep on this ride, I can't do it. I am emotionally spent, and this money would be phenomenal for my couple of kids since I'm a single dad and cashed out. That's the right decision, right?
Absolutely. I'm surprised he waited this long. I mean,
you had a hard time not me cashing out at $100K.
Yeah, I probably would have did it at 100.
Yeah. I think he said going into game 4. He said going into game 4 that if that number got back north of 100,000, that he was going to cash out. And then he changed his mind yesterday and decided to take the $80K and walk away. I think that's the right call. I think that's the call he has to make, especially considering every reason. I literally went on a sports gambling show last night and said, I'm taking OKC minus 4.5 to win this game tonight because Luka's cooked. Luka's knee's done. He's very clearly hobbled, and you can see the frustration on his face. Well, last night, everything I said about Luka went the other way. Number one, he's been taking a lot of heat for, let's be real, being kind of whiny in this series. It's like every time he gets a little bit of contact, he's turned and he's flipped out on the refs. He's been a little bit whiny, and he's been catching crap for it, which I don't think is wrong. He wasn't that guy last night. Last night, Luka was not really being, boisterous in his, shall we say, criticism of the NBA officials. Last night, Luka Doncic, who I think has been hobbled by a busted knee, went triple-double with 30 points attached. Now, we did go triple-double in the loss in Game 4, But he went triple-double with 18 points and 10 turnovers in that game, I think it was? 9 turnovers, whatever it was. It was a sloppy game. Like I said, it's wild to me that this cat's playing at a level that I can say a triple-double is a sloppy performance, but it was. It was a sloppy performance. So Luka turns it around in Game 5, goes triple-double with 30 points, gets out there and gets his Mavs a win, and the Mavs now up 3-2. I got to say, as much as I was team let it ride when it was at 52K, as much as I was team let it ride, and I did say, if I'm letting it ride, I'm letting it ride for the Thunder to win one more game. And if the Thunder win a game, which they did, and it bounced back up to 82, that's where to cash out. I really thought it would have gone back up to about 100K because I think that the majority of Vegas, as was evidenced by the line yesterday, Mavs favored by 4.5. I think the majority of Vegas thought, all right, Luka is clearly winding down. Like he's going to run out of gas at some point. And Luka Doncic is one of those cats that without him, the Mavs can't win. And if he ends up having to miss some time or is hobbled more than we think by that knee, the Mavs can't win. There's teams, like if Jason Tatum doesn't show up for Boston, Boston can still win. If Nikola Jokic doesn't show up for the Nuggets, I don't think they can win. I think they can compete. I don't think they can win. There's a couple of players in that category, and I think Luka is at the top of that list. Without him, they can't win. So I really thought that there was going to be a very good chance that Luka's performance goes downhill, Oklahoma City kind of takes off and takes over, and they climb back in this thing. And my thought was, let them make it, as I think they will, to the Western Conference Finals. That's going to go up to probably like $250,000, and then I'm cashing out. But my dude decided to pull the trigger before last night's game, and it's a real good thing that he did. Because I think the Thunder are in trouble going back to Dallas. I really do. Granted, the last time where Luka had a triple-double, but it was not a great one. But I think he made the right call. Text 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Texter says 2 words. Chicken. I think that's a very easy thing to say when you don't have $82,000 riding on it, right? There were 3 possibilities for that guy going into yesterday. 2.7 mil, 82,000, or $0. $0 for a team. If he had Boston selected, great one, I let it ride. Obviously. If he's got Denver selected, I let it ride because Denver's taking it from $10 back up to probably $1.50 now.
If he picked either of those teams, though, would the payout be as much?
I think the payout when Denver went down 0-2 would have probably dropped down to like $10,000. But now that Denver's up 3-2 and they are guaranteed.
No, I mean overall, when he did the original bet, OKC had to be
long odds, longer than Boston,
so which would have brought him in more money.
Yeah, had he selected Boston or Denver in the initial bet, it wouldn't have been 2.7 mil. The parlay wouldn't have been that long because Oklahoma City was a plus money championship favorite, like a plus money championship favorite. So the payout likely would have been probably less than 2 mil. It still would have been, let's say just for throwing it out there, let's say it's 1.5 mil. The cash out when Denver was down 0-2 would have probably checked in at like $10,000. Now that they're up 3-2, probably closer to like $1.25, $1.30. I honestly would cash that out right now.
See, I'm also guessing, wouldn't Kansas City be kind of a long shot when you're doing this sort of bet because no one had repeated in such a long time?
No, you guys were betting favorites going into the season last year.
Okay.
That is part of the reason that I have been making the Travis Kelce is a goob for saying nobody respects us joke, because for 2 years running, you have had the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. That's where the disrespect joke came from.
No, he was talking about sports media. He wasn't talking about Vegas. And there was plenty of that noise out there.
I don't think there was.
I pointed out who it was and when it was, and
I think there were probably some hot take artists who were doing it because
that's what I'm talking about, and that's what a lot of people care about.
Let me just say, if I was almost going to say a name there, but I'm not going to. If you know who, and if you know who I know, or if you know who I'm saying when I say you know who.
And he's not talking about anybody in Detroit. I just want to, but in case you're speculating.
No, not at all. If one of the national television talking heads comes out and says something like that, 90% of the time it's because they just need a reaction. Because that's what it's about now. Nobody disrespected.
Well, they did, and hopefully they'll do it again this year. Looking forward to those people who do that, doing that again.
Disrespect. Can't have it. All right. Texas said, Rob, classic projections of a closet kleptomaniac. The universal 12-step program has helped many a klepto, but you got to work the steps, Rob. Work the steps. I am not a kleptomaniac. I don't know why what's-her-face and her identical twin are stopping me every time I'm at a checkout.
Okay, we're going back to that. All right, because I was like, what's this have to do with betting? Kleptomaniac. Oh, okay. All right.
Kevin texted the show and said, Rob, I have a beard and an armful of tattoos and wear flat bill hats, and I never get stopped. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Wait, Kevin, do your glasses match, though?
That should make me less threatening, not more.
No. It's a guy with an attention to detail. That's a guy with sleight of hand kind of tricks up their sleeve.
Pay attention to my eyes so you don't see what my hands are doing.
Well, that's how that works. That's how magic works.
Golly. If you missed the story about the most ridiculous self-checkout register experience I have had to date, it is at the end of hour number 1, available at thefanupstate.com on the podcast section. Go listen to it on demand, but wait till the show's over. When we come back, the top 10 most anticipated NFL regular season games after yesterday's schedule release. We talk about it next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Skrilla, look who showed up in the chat for the first time in a minute. Where you been, broski?
What are you calling him out for?
I'm not calling him out. I'm saying hello.
Calling him out.
I miss my guy.
Okay.
He wasn't at our tailgate party last Saturday.
So you are calling him out. That's exactly what you're doing.
You can say you miss someone. You can miss a bro without calling him out.
You say, I miss you. You're not specific as to the locations that they should have been, and that's the reason why you missed. That's calling him out. You're calling him out.
I don't think so. I think your default state is looking to cause conflict.
No.
That's your default state.
No. Not me. Tough love is still love, Rob. Oh, is that her? Did she just move her parking space? Because that's some horrible parking. So if you're up on the curb, does that matter?
I'm in too good a mood to look.
I mean, she's on the curb, but there's no you get space to the next person. Those shoes don't match that outfit. He should change his name to Daggum Diesel. Daggum Diesel.
Diesel making the tires sound like an X-Files commercial. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. The Fan Upstate, Rob and Lonzo with you. Let us take a further look at the NFL schedule after the full 272-game slate was released yesterday. I went through the schedule because I am a schedule release nerd, and I put together a list of a handful of games that initially jumped out at me. Absolutely not ashamed of it in the least. I went through and I looked at some of the games, and I am as I told Lonzo, I think Lonzo's default state is to cause conflict. But I'm also a guy who loves some drama. What do you want? All right. It's why we get along so well.
Conflict brings debate. Debate is the best kind of radio.
And that's what we're here for, man. We're here to fight. That's what I've been told my whole life. So let us get to
the Rob Brown Show, where every night is fight.
Fight night. Let us get to the top 10 games that Rob Brown, yours truly, is looking forward to based on drama. And I will say that as I put these together, I came to the realization that a lot of the games that I was looking at, great one, had to do with quarterback drama. Quarterback matchups, quarterbacks versus old teammate matchups, quarterback matchups where one team seems to be at a direct disadvantage. And I think that has driven a lot of this, which I think really says a lot about the league. Like, that's how dependent on the quarterback position the league has gotten to, that there's a couple of head coaching matchups I'm interested in. There's a couple of, European games that I'm interested in. South American game I'm interested in. But a lot of the schedule, the top 10 games I'm looking forward to the most, was put together because of quarterback drama. So let's dive in. Let us start with game number 10. I don't know how important this game is going to be in the grand scheme of things, but I do think it is kind of interesting. Chicago at Washington, week 8. Why am I interested in this one?
Wait. All that buildup, all that, everything, and this is what you start with?
Why should it not be on the list?
Oh, come on.
By the way, I'm starting at 10 and going to 1. This
okay,
isn't number 1.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry. Let me do a David Letterman. Number 10 on the top 10 most anticipated games of 2024.
Yeah, I don't like that, because if you throw your pen, it's going to hit me.
Where's my throwing pen? I brought a pen in here that I could throw without throwing my tablet pen. Oh, I left it in the other.
What do you mean you brought it in so you could throw it?
A flipping pen.
Okay.
That way I don't have to flip my tablet pen because I keep breaking it. This is like the 9th one I've had to buy.
That's a good
move
tablet. If you remember it. Would you like me to go get it for you?
No, I'm good. I don't need to go full Letterman on this. Number 10, Chicago at Washington, week number 8. One reason and one reason alone. Because the world has said Caleb Williams is clearly the best quarterback in this year's draft. I have said that, to me, it is Jaden Daniels. I really like Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels might have a better career than Caleb Williams. I have leaned on that. I'm going to stay on it here. Caleb v. Jaden Daniels in week number 8. Now, the thing is, I know what's going to happen. We're going to get there. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. And the national media is going to jump in like the only thing that won or lost the game is the quarterback. We're not going to take into consideration the fact that, yes, as far as rookie quarterbacks go, I mean this, do not think that a rookie quarterback has had as good of a starting situation as Caleb Williams has, maybe ever. I think Caleb Williams has the best offensive skill set that any rookie quarterback has had ever in the history of rookie quarterbacks. I sincerely believe that.
So what you're saying is he better not fail.
I am saying that Caleb Williams having a Bryce Young first year is disaster to me. Disaster to me. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see.
Right above that, checking in at number 9. The Hard Bowl. Ravens Chargers, week number 12. You got Jimbo back in the NFL after 9 years at Michigan. The last time these guys met up in the National Football League, a Super Bowl in which John got that dub. Now Jim's back to try to get it back. That is going to be one of the tougher games that the LA Superchargers are going to square up in year number 1 of the Jim Harbaugh regime. I've got that checking in at number 9. At number 8, great one. Atlanta at Minnesota in week 14. You know I'm all in for a QB revenge game. Kirk Cousins. Minnesota said, we don't think you're worth $100+ million a year. We're not about to give you them fat stacks. Good luck, Kirky. Have a great time wherever you end up at. Kirky, as apparently some Atlanta fans have taken to calling him. I'm not going to call him Kirky. So Kirky.
Maybe they're calling him Kirky because hurt feelings.
Hurt feelings?
He has hurt feelings about the quarterback being drafted, and there's still stories
apparently
about,
so do the damn Falcons fans still.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So you're saying they would take his side on that?
Yeah, I would think so.
All right.
Even if they are wrong, they would take his side. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons head back to Minnesota for the first time since he signed with the ATL. Will he be welcomed warmly by Minnesota Vikings fans?
Absolutely.
Or will they boo him out of the stadium?
He's not going to get booed.
He's a tough guy to dislike.
Yeah.
He's a real tough guy to dislike. On the flip side, J.J. McCarthy is going to be going up against the guy who he took over for in Minnesota. Interested in that one. Let's go with another QB revenge game. Great one. How about the Steelers and the Broncos? Out the chute. Week number 2, Russell Wilson. Going to be QB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He gets to go back and go head-to-head with his old team and his old coach in Sean Payton. Wilson, as much as he doesn't want to do this because he's got this very process manufactured image of himself that he thinks is important on social media, I can't imagine Russell Wilson is necessarily thrilled about the way that he was treated by the Denver Broncos down the stretch. I suspect he's going to be looking for a measure of revenge in the Mile High City, and you better believe I will be tuned in for a great reality show reunion.
And all you're going to see is him sitting on the bench because he's not going to be starting for this game.
In week 2.
Yes. I don't think he makes it out of training camp as a starter. I really don't. We'll see.
I accept that bet.
We'll see.
Name your terms. I take that bet. Russell Wilson starting week 2 and week 1.
We'll see.
Yes, we will.
I will consider.
You know how I know that? Because they're talking about Justin Fields being a kick returner. That's why.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
That's why.
We'll see.
Green Bay versus Philly is going to be on the list for me. That is at Sao Paulo, Brasilia in week number 1. Why? You ever seen Brazilian soccer games? They're nuts, dude. They're insane. And I am curious as to if they will bring that same intensity to a National Football League game. This is not even necessarily about seeing the redonkulous crowd that's going to be in Sao Paulo, Brazil for a week 1 matchup between the Pack and the Eagles. This, to me, is because this is a market test for the National Football League. Y'all ever heard the story? And I think this is one of the areas that before fast food chains will add a food item to a menu nationally, they will add it to a couple of restaurants in test markets, and they will see how that food item does on the menu.
Columbus, Ohio used to be the test marketing capital of the world. So with several chains like Wendy's and Bob Evans and some other places like that right there in the middle, and they tried stuff all the time. Yeah. And we got free samples all the time of the new things, also with grocery stores there. So, yeah.
So this is a test market run. Because if they put this game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the Brazilians fill up a 100,000 person stadium, and that place is rocking and a swaying, then the NFL knows, hey, we got another country that we could theoretically stick a team in down the line. And by the way, we got a country that's in the regular time zones, that's in the scope of American time zones. You put a team in London, Munich, all those games are morning games when that team is at home. They cannot put that team in primetime TV. You can if it is a team out of Brazil. Week 6, the Lions and the Cowboys. How about this one? A repeat of one of the weirdest games of last season where the Lions had a 2-point conversion wiped off due to a penalty when officials said offensive tackle Taylor Decker did not report as eligible, even though there's video of Taylor Decker talking to the referees before the snap. Ladies and gentlemen, the tinfoil caps that the league protects the Cowboys went squarely on the heads of even your boy Rob Brown, because what was Taylor Decker going to talk to the refs about? Hey, ref, nice Nikes, my dude. I dig those Air Force Ones, bro. I got to tell you, looking real swole, looking real jacked, baby, in that stripe. No, of course he was checking in, and they said he didn't. Bull crap. So the Lions are going to want that one back.
Watch the language, mister.
Sorry. Bull. The Jets at the Niners, week number 1. Of course, I want this one. I don't know what to tell you. It's Aaron Rodgers' Jets debut. Of course, I want to see it.
Wait, you put the Jets on the list?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Wow.
I do not hate the Jets. I just think they're going to be bad.
Okay.
There's a difference.
All right.
I think they're going to be not good.
All right.
It is not because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers might be one of the few good things about this team.
Okay.
I just think that every year we try to pimp a team from New York so that New York's got something to look forward to, and it damn sure ain't the Giants. Sorry, Chris, I love you.
Okay, so the hate's just towards New York in general as far as
No.
football goes.
The hate is a belief that every year we're going to pimp a team out from LA and we're going to pimp a team out from New York so that we can whip those markets up and get them excited about the season. And I don't think either team from New York is going to be good this year, but we got to have that market invested. So let's go all in on a mediocre Jets team. That's what this is. That's all it is to me. That being said, again, it's the Aaron Rodgers Jets debut. Let's go to week 5. Buffalo versus Houston in week number 5. Actually really like this game. Why do I like this game, Lonzo?
Finally a matchup that's that all of us can get behind.
No, this is you not watching the game because you hate a quarterback. This is you Josh Allen.
All those other ones are really because.
Oh, you said finally, not I thought you said find me a game.
No,
you said finally.
I said finally. You know
gotcha.
what? I've been working on an enunciation for like 30 years on the air almost, and it's probably not ever going to happen. So, yeah, I said finally a matchup in your top 10 that I'm interested in.
I think you should be interested in all of the ones I mentioned, but this one I'm very interested in because
it's your top 10. So, I mean, you know.
Second place in the AFC, I genuinely think is up for grabs. I think it is up against between the Ravens, the Texans, and the Bills. I think those are the 3 teams that could through. And yes, I do think the Texans are capable, with Stephon Diggs being added to that offense, of jumping into the conversation with the Ravens and the Bills. And I think this game in week 5 will go a long way in proving whether or not I am justified in the belief that the Texans are up there with the Bills in the power ranking of teams that aren't Kansas City in the AFC. This is a big one for CJ Stroud. If he can go out there and have his team compete with and win against Josh Allen and the Bills at home, you've got to elevate them into contender status in year 2 of CJ Stroud.
Well, I mean, you almost could have had them there last year. I mean, it was a big surprise what they did last year.
It was a big surprise.
So,
they were not Baltimore, Buffalo, or Kansas City last year. They were good. They were better than expected.
They were not, but they were on that next level below them. So.
And the reason I like this game is because if they can go in there, have a good run up to and win this game, I will put them in that next level. On the list, I've got Detroit at San Francisco in week 17. That is a late season Monday Night Football game. The Lions had the 49ers in the NFC Championship game last season. They blew it in the second half. They could have made the first Super Bowl appearance in franchise history, but choked it away. Now they get a chance for a little revenge in week 17, and that one could very well have playoff implications on the line. Baltimore at Kansas City in week 1. Obviously, and the only game that I am more excited about than Baltimore and Kansas City in week 1, Kansas City at San Francisco in week 7. 2 of my top 10 games involved the Kansas City Chiefs taking on their final 2 opponents from last year. Baltimore in the AFC title game, San Francisco in the Super Bowl. The question is, will either one of those 2 teams have taken a step towards the Kansas City Chiefs, or are we all doomed and gloomed to the Chiefs getting the 3-peat this year? There you have it. There's my list of top 10 games I'm looking forward to this year.
Say Buffalo beat. I see it. Buffalo beat Kansas City early in the season, and it was like, oh, they're done. They're done. They're finished. So I can see what you're saying, but at the same time, it's not a lock if Baltimore beats Kansas City that they've taken that next step.
Of course not. Of course not. It's not a lock anybody's going to beat Kansas City until somebody beats Kansas City. But what I do think you can do is get a pretty good indication of if anybody's taken steps towards. Because, yes, Buffalo beat Kansas City. It was a good football game, though. What happens if one of these teams shows that maybe Kansas City's wide receiver core is going to take a step back, and maybe Patty Mahomes does have to do a little bit more than he's had to do in years gone by? What if Baltimore suddenly, with the addition of Nate Wiggins to that defensive backfield, makes Patrick Mahomes' life hell, as they are going to make a lot of quarterbacks' lives hell for a day this year?
See, the story for me in that game was Kansas City's defense last year a fluke? Is this the norm? Are they going to play that good or better this year? Because if the defense improves even more so over last year, they're getting scarier. The Chiefs
getting scarier on defense.
The Chiefs as a team.
They do not scare me on offense as much as they did last year.
Yeah,
they just don't.
If the other team can't score, you don't have to score as much.
That's also true. So there's my top 10 most anticipated games of the 2024 National Football League schedule. Which ones do you like? Which ones you don't? Do you have any games that your team is involved in this year that jumped off the calendar at you? Text them to us, 71307. Start your text with the word fan, F-A-N, fan, F-A-M. We'll read them on the air, or call us on the Renewal by Anderson to the Carolinas fan phone at 844-F-A-N-F-O-N-E. That's 844-326-3663. There is no charge to call that. There's also no charge. It should be $9.99 a minute to listen to a sports flash, but Lonzo's going to do it for you for free.
Well, I am getting paid. It may not be that much, but I am getting paid. The Boston Celtics are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals after a 113-98 win over a shorthanded Cleveland Cavaliers team. Jason Tatum scored 25 and Al Horford added 22 for Boston. The Atlanta Braves took 2 but dropped the third of a 3-game set at home against the Cubs with a 7-1 loss. Charlie Morton, could be Charles to his mom, was tagged for 5 hits and 4 runs across 3 innings, while Chicago racked up 13 hits on the night. Atlanta had 8 hits but 11 strikeouts and went 1 for 8 with runners in a scoring position. And we all confused. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a whole lot of fun. And it's all Wire to Wire. Not a joke. Not a stammer. Well, I was a stammer. I couldn't actually say the word confused. So weird. That is the key, Wesley. If more people actually, tried it. And Shane, he doesn't give Xavier Worthy any credit, but he does keep forgetting about Hollywood Brown. He absolutely does. Go ahead and tell him, Moles. Moles, tell him Lonzo said that Shane said that you keep forgetting about Hollywood Brown.
Steve Martin and Martin Short are coming to the Berg, and there's about 1,000% chance I'm there for that.
Well, Steve Martin is an excellent stand-up, and Martin Short is just crazy.
I love Martin Short so much. Love Martin Short. Huge fan. And if I go to that, I don't want anything more than to hear Steve Martin play the banjo.
Well, he has to. I think he always does in a stand-up. I mean, what a shocker it is for people who don't know he plays it and plays it well enough to be in bands and stuff. He's so good with the banjo, he can show up and just join in with people. That's a good musician. You can just jump on stage and start playing what they're playing. Sorry, that's a great musician is what that is. Yeah, Shane mentioned this earlier. You keep forgetting about Hollywood Brown. Do you just not like Hollywood Brown? Do you think he's lost it? You think he can't catch?
I think as a one receiver, you might be disappointed by the number of drops this year. I could be wrong.
The number one receiver rather, and Seaver probably, is Travis Kelce. I mean, you can keep. I mean,
agreed,
and that's not unusual.
I brought up my concerns about him earlier too.
Listen,
I could be wrong.
That Tom Brady guy who just kicked Greg Olsen down to number 2, that guy had Gronk, and when he didn't have Gronk, he wasn't as good.
Tom Brady did not kick Greg Olsen down.
He did.
The Fox executives
absolutely
kicked Tom
did.
Olsen down. Was he supposed to say no? No. Go ahead and make me second string.
No, he was not supposed to say no. But it just shows you.
But it's his fault anyway.
He better be good.
He better be good.
Because Olsen was great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on into hour number 3. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob and Lonzo, and you, if you want to be a part of the program. 844-326-3663. That is the number to the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone. 844-326-3663. You can text us 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. FAN, F-A-N, to 71307. Followed by your message. Texter said, Rob, I woke up and I thought it was Friday. I do that once a month. And it is the realization, when the realization kicks in, ordinarily as I'm climbing into the car to drive to work, that, oh, crap, I got to do this one more day. Disappointing.
It's not like it's Monday or Tuesday. It's Thursday. I mean, come on.
Oh, I'm excited about the fact that it is Thursday and that when we are done with this show, it is, for us, pretty much Friday at that point. Very excited about it. But come on, man. Thursday doesn't beat a Friday. And when you wake up thinking it's a Friday and then you come to the realization that it's a Thursday, even though I mean this, friggin' love my job, it's still a bummer.
I'll say, Rob, we work in radio. Every day's Friday for us. I mean, there are people out there struggling in the heat. Nice day today. That means you got to work in the sunlight and get all hot and sweaty. We're in here and I'm not wearing any shoes. Not every job could do that.
I don't disagree, but other people having it worse doesn't make your problems invalid. Okay? This is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay.
Let's keep it positive.
And I am keeping it positive. I am grateful for my job, and every day is a Friday in radio.
Greg Olsen taking a $7 million pay cut to be bumped from the 1 squad down to the 2 squad on Fox.
A pay cut too on top of that.
Yeah.
Man. It's one of the most talked about analysts last year was Greg Olsen. I think he shocked a lot of people about how well he did. And then suddenly you get demoted after doing that well because a bigger star is coming.
Welcome to showbiz, baby. Welcome to showbiz, my man.
doesn't seem to happen that much in this realm, though. As far as
literally happened to us. We literally got bumped to a time slot for a superstar.
I am talking about on TV. I'm not talking about radio. It happens all the time in radio. I'm talking about on TV. They put guys together and they stay there and they seem to work their way to the top and they stay on the top. Unless one is really good and one is really bad. I mean, how often are crews split up?
Not very often. Can I say that I really don't have high expectations for Tom Brady? I really don't.
What?
I don't have high expectations for Brady the broadcaster. I there's not really much about Tom Brady that like moves the needle for me as a broadcaster.
I think you're going to get a more snark and less analysis. That's what I think you're going to get from Greg Olsen. I mean, that dude knows football, and you can tell by everything that he was saying, and he had a personality. I think Brady is going to be
okay. Stop.
I'm handing it off to
Tom
Brady. I'm handing it off to Tom Brady. All right,
stop.
now his love's going to come through.
Stop. Yes, it is.
Shining like the sun outside.
When I was literally saying I don't expect much out of Brady, your thing on Olsen is he knows football. The greatest of all time doesn't know football. It is not Tom Brady's analysis of the game that I'm worried about. He's going to know the game. I promise you Tom Brady knows an offense better than Greg Olsen
All right,
does.
Rob, I will say this to you. I am older and wiser than you. All right, I'm older than you. Here's the thing. I may have as much football knowledge as you do. My words don't work as well as yours do. That's what I'm talking about. Greg Olsen has the knowledge and is able to verbalize in a way that I don't believe Tom Brady can. I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. And we'll see. Not that I am going to try to avoid every game that he's on unless I have to listen to him.
So,
because I don't know if you knew this, I don't really like Tom Brady.
Yeah,
so.
You've made that clear. Couple of things here. I'm going to start with
coming in and costing Greg Olsen, greatest tight end to ever play for the Carolina Panthers, money. It's a punk move.
Couple of things here. I'm going to start with it is not Brady's knowledge of the game that I'm worried about. Tom Brady is going to know the game as well, if not better, than any other color guy on TV, Greg Olsen included. What I am concerned about is this. Tom Brady as a personality is what we in the wrestling business call a charisma vacuum. He's a charisma vacuum. I don't think he's going to have issues with saying words into a microphone. He's been doing that his whole career. He's been doing press conferences for 24 years at this point. Talking isn't going to be an issue. I don't think he's going to be stumbling over his words. I don't think he's going to be getting ahead of himself. That's one of the things that has happened over the years with Tony Romo, is he's gotten so excited that he gets out ahead of himself and he realizes that he's 3 stops ahead of the train of thought before it's left the station, and he's got to get caught up. And so then you have to, and this is something that, as a guy who sat on play-by-play in color, one of the issues that you have to combat as a color guy is understanding that unlike the play-by-play guy, you have a set time parameter where you can talk. You have to start after the conclusion of the play, and you have to end before the beginning of the next play. And that's even true. Basketball is very difficult to do color commentary on because the ball rarely stops. And so if something happens in a play that you want to define, it may have been like 3 different pick and rolls followed by an off-ball move over here, whatever, and you've got to get all of that out before the offense gets the ball down the floor, sets up their offense, and takes a shot. Football, you got a little bit easier because at least with football, at least you know when the offense is set to make the next play. So I'm not uber concerned about Tom Brady's ability to know the game or communicate the game. I am worried about Tom Brady in that 15, 20, 25 seconds that he has between tackle and snap to keep people engaged, to keep me involved. Just being Tom Brady isn't a thing. That just being Tom Brady, the football player, makes me want to watch Tom Brady, the football player. Sure, I wanted to watch and did watch and thoroughly enjoyed the roast of Tom Brady I thoroughly enjoyed the roast of Tom Brady. And part of the reason that I wanted to check in on that was because it is Tom Brady. And I do like a good roast. I do like some dark humor. So I wanted to pay attention, and I can say that I did want to watch that roast, but here's the other aspect of it. As much as I enjoyed the roast being the roast of Tom Brady, I didn't tune into the roast of Tom Brady for Tom Brady. I tuned into the roast of Tom Brady for Tom Segura. I tuned into the roast of Tom Brady for Nikki Glazer. I tuned into the roast of Tom Brady for all of the comedians. I'm a big stand-up comedian guy. Bert Kreischer. Tony, what's his face? The guy that came out from the crowd. I forget his last name, but he's got a very popular YouTube series going on right now, a show called Kill Tony, where it's basically like a combination of a roast / giving relatively unknown stand-up comics an opportunity to come on and entertain, improve their chops, and get noticed. And it's a very interesting concept because they have every type of comedian. They will have super far left comedians and Roseanne Barr. They'll have super far left comedians and Tucker Carlson. And they just go at each other, and it's phenomenal.
Wait. Tucker Carlson does stand-up?
No, he does not, but he sat in on the panel of this show once.
All right, okay.
And it was genuinely funny because every comic that came up was busting the bleep out of Tucker Carlson, which I find hilarious. And then Tuck was like trying to give it back, and it was comedy. It was good.
So you're saying he didn't hold his own?
No, he did not hold his own.
Okay, all right.
He tried his best.
All right.
He did.
If you were on the other side of the aisle, would you have thought?
No, it was bad. And there have been a couple of comedians on there that have been very bad.
Put yourself on either side and think.
Here, I'll put it this way. There was a couple of comedians that went after Roseanne Barr, and she cooked them.
She is kind of got more skills than
for
Tucker
sure.
Probably does.
But the point is, like I enjoy it because there is spots where, yes, if we're in a roast thing, I will put whatever I feel about you aside to just enjoy you getting cooked. And if you're good at cooking back. The point of all this is I didn't tune into the roast of Tom Brady for Tom Brady. I tuned into the roast of Tom Brady because these roasts that have been going on to me are freaking hysterical. And if he's the butt of the joke, I'm still in.
So what you're saying is he's going to be on the best game. So you're watching the games for the games, and he's 100%. Just also there.
There is outside of week number 1, Cleveland or Dallas at Cleveland. Outside of week number 1, there's not a game that I'm giving priority to because it's Tom Brady on the call. Like there may be some games that this is the game that I'm giving priority to, but none of them will be because Tom Brady's on the call. And there will be no games that I turn off because Tom Brady is on the call. Tom Brady's just a guy on a mic for me. And I am curious to see how he does. Now, I will say there is a possibility for Tom Brady to be great because again, when Tony Romo got in the box, now I do think Tony Romo has charisma. I do think he has more personality than Tom Brady does. But when he got in the box, the beautiful thing about at least the early portion of Tony Romo's career, although there's some criticism of it lately, the beautiful thing about Tony Romo on the call was that Romo brought you into the mind of a quarterback, but he talked to you like a football fan, right? Like a football guy. He would go in and he'd say, all right, I want you to watch this guy. And I want you to watch this guy who's going to do this thing at the snap because he sees this guy doing this over here. And he doesn't go into, there's a spider Y X banana fold 32 rocket jet sweep and expect you to know that. Like he explained what was happening, but he broke it down the way a quarterback sees the field. And I do think Brady has the knowledge to do that. I just don't know if he has the capability to talk to us like a normal dude. And then I go and I watch these rental car commercials that Brady's in. Like when you put Tom Brady's commercials up against Peyton Manning's commercials, it's not even a competition, right?
The majority of Tom Brady's commercials, actually, he's being roasted. If you think about it, he's always kind of the blunt of the joke.
There are a bunch that he is. They've the last couple I've seen they put out, they've shifted away from that. And I do think to some degree, they may be as a reaction because Brady came out the other day and he was like, in retrospect, I I wouldn't do that. In retrospect, I wouldn't do that roast again because of the impact that it had on my kids. And I'm like, oh, you clearly never watched a roast before, A. And B, my dude, the rules of the roast were established before the roast. You had the opportunity to say, okay, nothing about my divorce, nothing about Bill, nothing about Bob. You didn't do that. Now, granted, if you would have done that, I wouldn't have watched the roast because that's what roasts are for. They are about kicking you in the most sensitive parts of your life and making light of it. That's why they're fun to me. You had the chance to make those rules. You did not make those rules. It's kind of on you. Like you didn't know that there were going to be divorce jokes. You didn't know that that was kind of going to be a part of the game. Like, of course it was, Tom. But again, Tom Brady as a guy, I don't know that I would have moved Greg Olsen off the A team. I think I would have given Tom Brady a year of B team experience. And if he comes in and he proves himself, sure, I'll move him up next year. But here's the reason that the TV execs decided to bump Greg and move Tommy Touchdowns into that slot. Because Tom Touchdowns a media draw. Hate him, love him, don't like him. Neutral about him, think he's a charisma vacuum, think he's going to be great. Doesn't matter.
So there are
that matters.
There are people tuning in just because Tom Brady is on the call.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Dude, people tuned in because it was Tom Brady on a roast, a show in which he was going to talk for 3 minutes.
It's the NFL, Rob. If it's somewhere else, that's different. It's
the mistake. The mistake that you are making that I thought people would learn from last year is that there is a big crossover that is largely untapped from the world of pop culture into the world of the NFL. Taylor Swift put that on full display last year.
Don't you dare put Tom Brady and Taylor Swift in the same category.
I'm absolutely going to.
One is a sports star and one is a mega star of the world.
I'm not disagreeing with either one of those things. But I am saying that as far as crossover names from football into pop culture go, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are at the top of that list. Travis Kelce's on that list because he's dating Taylor Swift. And outside of that, Tom Brady's the biggest crossover football to pop star that there is that's not named Manning.
All right. Obviously, I do have bias against Tom Brady, but I really disagree with you on this. Tom Brady, not nearly the star that Peyton Manning is, or definitely not that Taylor Swift is, for sure.
Which is why I said very loudly and with emphasis, football to pop culture.
It wasn't very loudly because you didn't peek.
Football to pop culture. Tom Brady is the biggest name in that group. That's not Peyton Manning. That's what I said. And I stand on that. He is the biggest football to pop, not pop to football to pop star. That's not Peyton Manning. And so he is a draw because what is the NFL trying to do? They try to get more female viewers in. They try to get more pop culture viewers in. Tom Brady is that crossover.
Okay. So the next time you bring up, you said you wasn't going to watch football, but you did. You said because this happened, because this happened, because this happened. If they're watching because of all this political stuff that's happened, Tom Brady is not a draw to get people in to watch football. People are watching football. The NFL is the sport in the United States.
Lonzo?
He is not getting more people to watch because you can't see him. You're not going to hear him part of the time. I completely disagree.
I know you do. And I'm going to say lovingly, as you said, my lack of belief in the Jets is due to Aaron Rodgers. You're falling on your Tom Brady dislike for this.
No, you put anybody in there and I will say the same thing. There is no announcer, there is no analyst that I go, oh man, he's calling the game. I got to watch the game. I don't care about what game it is. I got to watch it because that guy or that girl is on it. There is no one.
You are looking through the paradigm of a football fan. This is not for football fans. This is for outside of football fans.
So here's the thing. I don't believe you're right about his stardom being able to bring people in. Taylor Swift, yes. There's no one out there that was an ex-football player that's bringing people in to watch football. There is no one.
Disagree. Then why is the NFL Network full of former football players?
Because they have knowledge of the game because they were on the field.
Like Tom Brady.
Right. So
Like Tom Brady.
football fans are what the argument is not about that.
No.
You're saying he's bringing people from outside of the fandom to watch because he's on a game.
What you just said is people will not tune in because of a guy's knowledge of the game. Yeah, they will. They literally. That's why every radio team has a former player.
They will tune in,
including
they will tune away if there's lack of knowledge. You expect anyone who's an ex-player to have knowledge. That's a given. I'm not tuning in because wow, he knows football. He wouldn't be on that broadcast if he didn't.
You are looking at it respectfully.
Stop saying that because you're not being respectful. It's not. You're not hurting my feelings. We're having an argument.
You're very wrong.
But you're very wrong.
You're very wrong. If you think that there are, and for the record, this is a week 1 conversation. I don't know that this is true in week 16. I don't. But in week 1.
All right. I don't think that you ever said week 1. I think this was an overall conversation. If you're talking about week 1, then you're right. A lot of people will tune in.
They are putting him
to either see him succeed or see him fail.
They are putting him in this spot because they believe in week 1 there is going to be a large audience of people, both football fans and not, who will tune in to hear and see what Tom Brady does in the box. And then their hope is that Brady's good enough that a portion of that audience will then follow him game to game for the rest of the season.
He's not bringing in people outside the game. No way. He's not a draw like that. Not bringing in people.
Because we all saw that Netflix roast fail.
No, we all didn't watch the Netflix thing. I mean, just because you watch it doesn't mean everybody did.
The audience crushed. It is one of the largest live events they've had on Netflix ever. He is a crossover guy, whether you dislike him or not. Let's take a break. We'll get away from this. About 20 minutes from now, we got Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast coming up. When we come back, let's look at the Atlanta Falcons schedule as it was released yesterday. Check out the games, the stretches that we like and don't, coming up on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Quick break, guys. We're coming right back. Stay right there for me. Thank you. You said no one was doing it. Yes, there are.
I don't think I said no one. I try not to generalize like that.
Where do you guys fall on the Brady thing? Do you think people will go out of the way to check it out? Or do you think Brady's just a soon-to-be failed publicity stunt?
Well, he's not going to get pulled out of the booth like halfway through. The only thing that would save them,
he will if he sucks.
The only thing that would save him if he's really bad is if a team goes, "Hey Tom, we need you to come and play quarterback." Then suddenly, it's so bad to see him go, but we wish him well with the rest of the season. It's not that. So the thing is, when someone has bias, then a lot of people believe that there's no way they can get outside of that bias and have an argument because the bias affects everything that they say. It has nothing to do with that. Do I dislike Tom Brady? Yes. Do I think he's going to be good in the booth? No. But I do not believe for a second that he's a draw to get people to watch the NFL who don't normally watch it. And I said, doesn't matter who you put in there. And I mean that. No, it's not that, Nolan. You're not in my heart. You're not in my mind. You're not in my soul. If you were, one of the three of those would scare you to death.
You're in my heart. You're in my soul.
No, not Ron.
You're my best friend when I grow old. I don't know the rest of that song, but it's good. Oh,
Nolan,
man.
are you a Michigan fan by chance? Just curious.
Michigan.
Just curious.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate Rob and Lonzo with it. Are the Falcons the second most popular team in this area? Are the Panthers the most popular team in this area? I think by number of fans, the Panthers are maybe not the majority of fans, but I think they are the largest fan base in the market.
I would guess that they definitely are in the Spartanburg area.
Certainly
because
in Spartanburg.
Up until this year, the Panthers were there and well attended as far as practices went and brought a lot of money to the area. That makes people happy.
Sure.
The chance that, I might see an NFL player out, that will make you a fan of the team also. But I've heard these surveys done quite a bit over the life of this station, and I don't think there's ever been a definitive answer. And part of it has to do, I believe, with a lot of transplants to the area because of BMW and Michelin and big plants like that bring in a bunch of people from other places, and people like me coming here because it's warm and bring their own fandoms with them.
So I agree. I've lived the two places I've lived the most, which are the Florida Panhandle, Fort Walton Beach, Destin, Pensacola, that area. That's a huge military area. Eglin Air Force Base, the largest by area military installation in the United States. Navarre, Florida hosts the Air Force Special Forces headquarters, main base, and then Pensacola Naval Air Station, which is where most Navy pilots learn to fly, and it is also the home base of the Blue Angels. I've been in a melting pot, and while it is probably more true of Greenville than Spartanburg, this area is a melting pot as well. This area is a melting pot of a lot of folks that are locals, that are native, and a lot of folks that have moved in, like yours truly. And so you combine that with the fact that the Panthers are, they're a 30-year-old expansion team, but they're not a legacy team, right? They're not the Steelers. They're not the Cowboys. They're not a team. They're not the Chiefs. They're not a team whose fan base goes back generations of families, right? Like it may be
on the edge of that. It depends on how long
you are on the edge of the third generation of Panthers.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're on the edge of that.
They founded 90, what was it? 5, whatever. You're on the brink of the third generation. Yeah, 95. The third. You're not even a 30-year-old franchise.
Well, in certain counties, but anyway.
All right, some of y'all's like 5th or 6th generations, but y'all gotta y'all got to slow down, all right? Point here is, at a normal pace of growth, you are right now really in your second generation of fans, which means that a lot of folks that were here when the Panthers started, they probably already had football teams from other markets that they loved. So are the Falcons the number 2 team in this area? Or they're the next closest. I'm not saying that they are. I'm asking because they are the next most geographically relevant team. Are they number 2?
For the older folks here, I think it's either Atlanta or Washington. For some reason, they showed a lot of Washington games. I was told back in the day before the Panthers became a franchise.
Sure.
And so I guess they're number 2 by default because they're closer.
I know that there is a large Buffalo contingent in the area. I know that there is a large Miami contingent in the area. I have seen their fan clubs, and they fill up bars. So are the Falcons number Shane just said, oh, I'm older than the Panthers? Yeah, me too, pal. Me too. Like, significantly for me. So
you guys hurt my feelings.
Are the Falcons the number 2 franchise in this market? Yes, I know it has been discussed and debated, but I have not discussed it and debated, and I'm a selfish egomaniac. So what do you want? Atlanta had everybody had their schedule released yesterday. Atlanta's sets up this way. The Falcons will open the season at the house, taking on QB1 Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1 o'clock on the 8th of September. They will run it back 8 days later on the 16th of September on the road at Philly, then back home for 3 in a row. They will host Kansas City on the 22nd of September, New Orleans on the 29th of September in their first divisional game. Their second divisional game will also be a home contest on the 3rd of October. That is a Thursday night game between the Buccaneers and the Falcons in the ATL. Sunday, October 13th, they're on the road at Carolina, then back home for Seattle, then back on the road at Tampa for the second time in 4 weeks. Back home November 3rd to host Dallas. Then they have 2 roadies back-to-back. November 10th on the road at New Orleans, November 17th on the road at Denver. Their bye week will be in week 12. They get the LA Chargers at the house on December 1st. Then it's back-to-back roadies again at Minnesota and at Las Vegas. Back home for the New York Giants on the 22nd of December, December 29th. They are at the Washington Commanders. Bums, and the Falcons will end their season January 5th at the Hizzle against their NFC South rivals, the Carolina Panthers. So that's where Carolina sits right now. Atlanta sits in their schedule. They get the benefit of having themselves a 3 home game stretch in weeks 3, 4, and 5 against Kansas City, New Orleans, and Tampa. 3 of the most important matchups on the schedule for them. And they do not have a 3-game road trip anywhere to reciprocate. They do go on the road twice, 2 different times. New Orleans at Denver in weeks 10 and 11, and then Minnesota and Las Vegas in weeks 14 and 15. 2 of their last 3 games will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the ATL. Fairly spread out schedule, I think, for Atlanta. There's not really any super tough runs after the first 4. I'll say 3 and then maybe game 4. Pittsburgh, which I don't necessarily know that I'm going to put Pittsburgh into the upper echelon of the NFL conversation. But what I will say is that the Steelers have not had a losing season in, what is it? Mike Tomlin's been there for 617 years, I think, at this point. They haven't had a losing season under Mike Tomlinson. They do have, I think, a pretty advantageous situation at quarterback in that they've got Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson does have pressure to perform because regardless of whether it was his fault or not, I promise you he does not want to lose his job to a young quarterback 2 years in a row. So you're either going to get a great Russell Wilson or a Russell Wilson who's failed and is replaced by Justin Fields 2 games into the season or 1 game into the season. We'll find out. Then you're on the road at Philly. Philly is, as much as I hate to acknowledge, one of the most difficult places to go play National Football League football. And as Troy Aikman said yesterday, hilariously, that's a Jason Kelce game. That's a Monday Night Football contest against the Philadelphia Eagles. Will Jason Kelce make it out of Philly, still employed by ESPN? I absolutely tuned in for that. By the way, to continue the conversation from the last segment, I'll watch any Jason Kelce game before I watch any Tom Brady game. I watch any Jason Kelce game before I watch any former player game. He's going to be a riot. Can't wait.
Even in Mexico?
Even in Mexico. I may stay in the hotel room in Mexico City to watch Jason Kelce, especially if my guys call it a Philly game in Philly. You know that is going to be an absolute show. And I'm all in. Do you think Jason Kelce is banging back brewskis while he's at the Monday Night Countdown desk?
Isn't that what Al Michaels does? I mean, haven't we found out that a lot of those guys do that, including Troy and all those guys?
Yeah, well, they said they were doing tequila. They were knocking back tequila shots before the game.
All those guys, some are more drunk than others, and it's obvious, but they're all taking some nips before they get going.
Liquid courage. It's called getting loosened up, all right? Sometimes you just got to loosen up. Just loosen up, baby. You about to go on national TV. You got to get loose. All right. So there's Atlanta's schedule. Falcons fans, anything jump off the page at you? I don't love the start of the season, Pittsburgh, Philly, and Kansas City. And you do have New Orleans. So you got Philly on the road, KC come to your house, and then your first divisional game the week after that. That's a tough 3-game stretch there. And then, by the way, you got 3 divisional games in a row. So you got Pitt, Philly, KC. And then you follow up with 3 consecutive NFC South games at home against New Orleans, at home against Tampa, on the road at Carolina. I got to tell you, that actually sets up well for the Carolina Panthers a little bit, right? Atlanta coming to you after they go Philly, KC, New Orleans, Tampa. Whew, that's a good setup for Carolina to get an NFC South division win. When we come back, Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us here. We'll break down the Carolina Panthers schedule with him. 9:20 Fight Club with the great man Lonzo, and a whole lot of sports talk between here and there on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
New life.
One more live read and we're back, guys. Y'all stay right there. What's up, fella?
Goosey. Look, it's your favorite
going on,
guy.
guys?
How we feeling, brother? You good?
Good. All is well.
I like it. I like it. I did not get a chance to watch your stream last night reacting to the schedule, so shock me, Rashad. Bring the goods.
I mean, it's not bad. We got a nice little stretch at the end. It's pretty tough. Yeah, but for the most part, not too many complaints. A little bit of travel. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Rashad, Greg Olsen got screwed over, didn't he?
For what? What do you mean? The conversation?
Because Tom Brady, where he got demoted.
Yeah, for sure. I think Greg does a great job, but when Tom is coming in, you got to kind of move aside. So
no, you don't. No, you don't.
Lonzo's so mad, dude. He's so mad.
Yeah, I mean, Greg does a great job.
It's 8:41 in the morning on a Thursday. Why did I go full morning zoo DJ right there?
You're excited to get to the conversation.
Welcome in. It's 8:41 in the morning here. Partly cloudy outside. It's a beautiful day outside.
Rashad does that. It gets you hyped.
It does. How can you not?
We now know the NFL schedule. How can you not be hyped?
When you got the host of the Panther Nation podcast, you can follow them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, make sure you go get subscribed to their YouTube channel because they go live all the damn time like they did last night when the Carolina Panthers schedule and everybody else's dropped yesterday evening. Rashad Beard here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. What's up, big fella?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here once again.
Yeah, man. Let's jump right in, dude. Let's start with your knee-jerk reaction. You got the schedule last night. You read over it, and your first thought was what?
I can't complain. Can't complain. Obviously, the biggest disappointment, which I guess some Panther fans are like, all right, that's cool. We get it. Is that there are no primetime games. So not one single primetime game for the Carolina Panthers. Obviously 2-15 last year. So that makes sense. But man, that and I tweeted this last night, but that bulletin board material, man, is growing by the day, man. The disrespect for the Carolina Panthers is immense. And so, yeah, that just adds to it. But no, the biggest observation was no primetime games. A lot of travel for us. We got to go over to Vegas, got to go over to Denver, got to go over to Germany, obviously. So not too bad, not too shabby.
It's really not. I honestly do think the schedule sets up well. I think that bye week after the Munich game is very important because that travel back and forth. I mean, you as an international man of mystery traveling the globe, you understand what a jet-lagged return trip to the U.S. can be. So I think that's a real good bye week. As far as the no primetime game goes, we talked a little bit about this back in the first hour. To me, Panther fans just have to recognize, like you said, you're 2-15 last year. And more importantly, and you and I've had this discussion, we expect improvement. We expect growth. But let's be real. This team turns in 6 wins this year. I think we're all applauding the growth at the end of the year. And if that's the team you're looking at, the NFL's not got a lot of room for you when you've got all these other storylines and quarterback and coach revenge stories that you can throw on primetime TV. And at the end of the day, all that the NFL makes its decision as far as television, much like Brady and Olsen, is how do we get the most eyeballs on and the most money in?
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast. You got to get eyeballs on it. And it's not just the fact that we weren't very good last year, but we all are a small market team. So that plays into it as well. And so, it, like you said, it is what it is. But, unfortunately, if you're outside of the great states of North Carolina, South Carolina, then you got to get that Sunday ticket. And that's just it is what it is. So nature of the beast.
On the road at New Orleans, week 1, Sunday, September 8th. That's a opening up with a divisional game. How important is it? And I'm not going to say to win that game at New Orleans. How important is it for Carolina to come out and be competitive in that game and start the Dave Canellis era off at least showing up?
Yeah, I think it's important. Not that we get a victory, but we do need to show some improvement, right? There's a lot of I wouldn't say hype, but we're excited that we got Dave Canellis, and we want to see some improvement. We're chomping at the bit to see some good football here in Carolina, and starting off the season with not showing up against the NFC South rival would not be great. Not a good start. But again, at the same time, you know, it's you got to give some grace a little bit, and it's gonna take some time for this team to get it together over the first couple weeks. And if we do come out there and lay an egg, then you know, hopefully we'll get better. But that's a tough way to open the season. Again, on the road in the Superdome. That's a tough way to start the season. So I would, if I'm gonna nitpick, I don't like starting out the season on the road against the Saints. But hey, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, and at that point, Dennis Allen will not have stuffed our hopes and dreams down our own throats, so the Superdome will actually be fun that day.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. Is there a part of the schedule? Is there a game? Is there a week? Is there a point? Is there a portion of the schedule that you look at and go, okay, if we don't look like an improved football team by this point, I'm going to be concerned?
Yeah, I think it's come sooner rather than later. I think this stretch after, maybe including the Chicago Bears game, but that's on the road, might be a little tough. But I would say October 13th versus the Atlanta Falcons at home, that stretch, you got the Falcons, Commanders on the road, Broncos on the road, Saints at home, and then Germany. That's a 5-game stretch before the bye. If we don't cash in a couple wins during that stretch, we got a long road ahead of us, because after the bye, boy, does it get tough. It gets tough. And so I'm looking at that stretch of games for sure to hopefully grab a couple of wins and build some momentum. I'm not saying we need to win them all, but we do need to grab more wins and losses during that stretch.
That game at Chicago is super interesting to me, because 5 weeks into the season, you'd assume that by that point, Caleb Williams got a grasp of that offense. I have brought up the fact that, and you can push back on this part if you want, or we can just talk about how it impacts the Panthers. I don't think a rookie quarterback has ever had the skill talent around him that Caleb Williams has in his first year, right? That wide receiver group is nasty. DeAndre Swift, one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL. And by that point, 5 weeks into the season, Caleb Williams should, if he is the guy that every talking head says he is, have a pretty good grasp on the offense. What do you think Carolina can do to make a statement in that game? Is it bother Caleb Williams, throw him off the game? Like, what do you look forward to in that game?
Yeah, and boy, you hit it right on the head, man. Boy, did they learn from our mistakes. The team that they traded with to get the number 1 overall pick, and say, hey, man, we're not going to do what those guys did with the way they set up Bryce Young for failure. They completely set Caleb Williams up for success. You got a lot of skill position talent. And he's going to hit the ground running. So he is set up for success. And it's going to be up to him and that offensive coaching staff to get him going. We're going to have to, we're going to have to rattle him. We're going to have to, disguise our coverages, confuse him. He is a rookie at the end of the day. Although he does have a lot of talent around him, we're going to have to confuse him and get him off his block. That's an important game. That's a very important game. Obviously, all the trades between us, they have seen some success at the best of the Carolina Panthers. So obviously, and you saw Bryce Young's reaction when that game was announced in the thing. So he's excited for it. There's the bulletin board material for the Carolina Panthers. It's all out there. I mean, we've got to prove everybody wrong at the end of the day. And it would be great to go up there and get a win on the road against a team that basically has stolen all of our draft capital and built a great team on our backs.
All right, I want to respond to a couple of comments in the chat that we're getting. Let's start with CDog1983 TV, who checked in. He said 2-15 loading again. I looked up and down the schedule. There are a handful of games I like. Listen, either Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell is starting for the Raiders. I don't care if you got Devontae out there. You got question marks there. Winnable game. I think the second game against New Orleans at home is a winnable game for Carolina. I think if you're going to get better than 2, they got to both come early, and then you try, maybe snag one against Arizona late, maybe snag one on the road at Atlanta late. Can this team go over, let's say, 3.5 wins this year?
Yeah, man. Bro, if we have less than 5 wins, that's not cool, right? I think there are winnable games, and I think the coaching was so bad last year that all we need to do is really get a competent coach in the building, competent offensive staff in the building. I hope we have that. I think we have that. And I think the wins will come And I don't think this is a 2-win team by any stretch of the imagination. I think there are winnable games on this schedule. And man, I mean, I went through the schedule last night and I picked out about eight or 9 wins. And again, it's way too soon, right? This is way too early predictions. But I reserve the right to change my mind. But there are some winnable games on this roster if we go out there and do what we need to do.
Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joins us at this time every Thursday to talk Carolina Panther football. Second comment I wanted to address came in just a minute ago. Deontay, who checked in, said Commanders is a trap game. Somebody else just a few minutes ago said beware the trap games. Give me 2-3 trap games on this. Games that you look at, you go maybe favorited, but maybe we get caught up in the emotion of the game before, the game after. Where are the trap games in the schedule to you?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe in a trap game for the Carolina Panthers. We are the trap. You know what I mean? We're going to get the other teams in the trap. I don't think we'll be favored in too many games. So I don't want to sit up here and say that there are quote unquote trap games for the Carolina Panthers. I don't believe in that. I think we need to go out there and prove everybody wrong. Everybody's is hating on the Carolina Panthers right now. They don't believe in us. So we are the trap.
Did you say you see 8 wins? I
see 8. Yeah,
give them to me.
Give you 8. I can
give them to
me 8. Give me. I take the Chargers opening at home.
Okay.
Give me the Raiders. Give me Atlanta at home. Give me the Commanders on the road. Give me the Broncos on the road. Give me the Giants in Munich. Give me what's that? 5 or 6?
You are sitting on 6 right now.
6. Give me the Cardinals at home late, and I think we'll still win against the Bucks. That's reasonable. I don't think that's like that's never going to happen. I think that's a reasonable prediction. That's 8 wins.
Zoe, any of those you push back on? Chargers, Raiders, Falcons at home, Commanders, Broncos, Giants, Cardinals, Tampa Bay at home.
I think out of all those, Tampa Bay would be the one that would be the one.
Honestly, I think Tampa Bay. You taking the Tampa Bay home game?
Yeah, the home game.
Okay, the home game. The only ones I think I would push back on, maybe Atlanta, because and again, this is going to depend on Kirk Cousins and his busted wheel, right? Like if Kirk Cousins is playing the way he was before, his knee exploded, his tendon exploded, then I think Atlanta goes 2-0 against everybody in this division. I really do think that's where they are right now. So I might push back against Atlanta. Outside of that, dude, like honestly, the list you gave me, like maybe the Giants, because they finally went and got Danny Dimes, like a competent wide receiver duo. So I think they might be a little bit better. I think Washington's beatable. I think, although I'm terrified of Jaden Daniels, I think Denver is beatable. I think Vegas is beatable. The Chargers, I'm up in the air about, dude, because I just don't know what Harbaugh is going to bring to the table this year.
Yeah, I think with the Chargers, you catch them coming to the East Coast. It's an early game for them. It's an early season. It's early in the season for the Chargers too. They're still getting their bearings about them. So I think you catch them early, right? So that's how I look at that game, and I see that one as winnable.
Yeah, I will also add, Rashad. I think I hate to say it, I think New Orleans at home is a winnable game for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, did I say that one?
Nope,
or
you didn't.
Did not say that. Yeah, so I think that was my 9th game actually. But
that's 9.
There's 8 winnable games in this schedule if we do what we got to do. And that's, again, we're not this team. We got to get out the mind. I know we were pretty bad last year, but the scenario was so bad, right? I don't think people are accounting for how bad it was around, not even on the field, right? We're talking about outside optics, up in the owner's suite, the coaching. There was stuff around this team that was so bad, right? That I think that you get that stuff fixed, which I think we have. I think the product on the field is going to be much, much better. I really believe we're gonna get better sooner than a lot of people anticipate.
I like it. I also feel like I'm Rashad's therapist right now. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, get subscribed to their YouTube channel. They go live all the time. What you guys got coming up?
Nothing much this weekend. Just every Tuesday schedule. Got probably a couple good interviews coming up here soon. Don't want to jinx them, but we'll see what happens.
I'm not going to jinx him either, but last time he said that, it was Steve freaking Smith. So you might want to get subscribed. Appreciate you, big fella. We'll talk to you next week, bro.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much.
You got it. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us every Thursday at 8:40 a.m. to talk Panther football. He'll join us next week. Right now, Lonzo's about to blow your mind with this sports flash.
If I remember to turn my mic on. I didn't talk, though, so it doesn't count. The Boston Celtics are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals after 113-98 win over shorthanded Cleveland Cavaliers team. Jason Tatum scored 25 and Al Horford added 22 for Boston. Dallas, the Mavericks took a 3-2 series lead over Oklahoma City with a 104-92 win last night. Luka Doncic recorded another triple-double, this time with 31 points on 12 of 22 shooting, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. Dallas shot 53% from the floor on the night and connected on 14 threes. That's pretty good. I don't know if you knew that. That's not a bad night. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show for the next 3 years. Wire to wire. I'm just joking. It'll last longer than that. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date. It's just new. It continues to be new for longer than it's new. Today at 3 to 7. Oh, worst one of the day. So bad. Everything is suddenly blurry for me that I'm reading, and I try putting my glasses on, but they're trifocals, and I will have to tilt my head a bunch of different ways to read the screen up there or that screen, and I don't know what to do about that.
Just can't win.
Well, or I'm just making the excuses for the lack of ability to read.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, it could be it. You saw me put my glasses on earlier.
And take them right back off.
Because I'm looking at this and it was blurry. And I'm like, why is that blurry? I had to explain what I meant. After I said what I said, it's like, wait, I don't want this taken the wrong way. We were joking about how long something is new in radio, but it made it sound like that they're done after 3 years, and that's not what I meant. So I had to clarify, and that threw off the rest of the read. And me being in the boss's office in trouble is not unusual. It's usually, why did Rob do this? Why did Rob do that?
Stop it.
That's what he says.
That is not true. Ordinarily, if somebody's going to call me down to the office to ask, why did Rob do that thing? It's just me.
See, now it's in his head because now he doesn't know.
I don't know what.
That if when I go over there, it's more about you than it is about me. I've stated many times. I get in trouble for everybody. It's not just me.
I don't think the guy that has authority over me has any problem telling me I screwed up.
But see, that doesn't play into the narrative, which is actually true, that everyone's mistakes are my fault.
We have now promos running with Gunther, R-Truth, Damian Priest.
Other ones I had to kill. So
all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Because we can have 9 wrestling promos.
Well, no. That's not it. It's, that's over a couple years.
Yeah.
I can't leave stuff in for, I will leave stuff in for like a year and a half until someone says something to me. But yeah, speaking of being in trouble, that's, yeah.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real good, Corey LaJoy. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The final hour of the Rob Brown Radio program is in your ear holes now. Great to have you, Rob Brown, and the great one, Lonzo, with you on a lovely upstate Thursday morning, talking a little bit of anything, little bit of everything. On the show today, we got golf firing up right now is the PGA Championship taking place at Valhalla Golf Club out in Louisville, Kentucky.
Do they say Valhalla or do they say Valhalla?
It's Kentucky. They say a lot of things weird.
I'm just
wondering.
They say, well, I haven't listened to them talk about, the golf course, so I don't know what the golf people.
I'm going to go that's a 50-50 split. I say Valhalla.
I'm going to say it's Valhalla.
But I mean, that is how
that's that's the golfers, snooty people would go with the Valhalla.
Of course, the legendary realm of fallen Nordic warriors, which makes perfect sense to call a golf club. It fits. It's a natural fit,
Well, yeah.
Natural fit. So got a bunch of stuff I want to burn through here because we do have this segment. Then in the next segment, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo, where we will spend, I am sure, the entire segment breaking down the X's and O's of this weekend's super heavyweight fight between two of the greatest on planet Earth, Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, Alexander Usyk, the Ukrainian legend, going at it this weekend in the Middle East. Showtime at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
I'm canceling Fight Club today. I got a thing.
All right, next segment, I'm talking Usyk v. Fury. We're probably going to talk about a lot of wrestling because we had Damian Priest in here on Monday. If you missed that, go back to thefanupstate.com, click on the podcast button, drop it down, select the Rob Brown Show, go back to Monday's show. And in hour number 2, we got like 40 minutes with the current reigning, defending undisputed WWE
I'm not
World
going to
Heavyweight
say
Champion.
that there was jealousy in the building, but there might be some jealousy in the building. That's all. I mean, there might be just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm going to say 2 things. I'm going to say, first and foremost, the second that interview was over, that door got kicked open by a room full of people coming to hang out with the champ.
Well, one of which emailed me and maybe us, I can't remember, asking if they could escort him down the hallway. And I said yes and told them what time to be here.
Stop it.
That would be the shorter one.
Stop it.
Do I have to show you the emails?
No, I believe you. I'm just saying, stop.
It's like, be here at 5 till. And didn't expect the other person to be there.
No wonder. Yeah. No wonder.
All right. Didn't expect the boss to be at the door. Just go ahead and say that.
Are you kidding me? The boss is the first one.
Yeah. When the boss is at the door, it's usually not a good thing. But he wanted to come in and meet Damian Priest, which he should have.
You're all welcome. Everyone who works here, you're welcome.
Wow. Like it's all because of you.
Kinda.
Well. Just because you help the process doesn't mean that it's all because of you.
Kinda.
Well, we're all the benefit of your magnificence. Thank you, Rob.
Take a bow. You're welcome. All right, I do want to get to a bunch of stuff here because we got this, we got Fight Club, then we got half a segment, and then we got what the X is going on the way out the door. So let us kick in. Dabo Swinney at the ACC meetings down in Amelia Island, Florida. The ACC meetings, kind of weird right now because you got North Carolina in the building, Florida State in the building, Clemson in the building, all talking about the greatness of the conference, but also all trying to leave the conference.
All right, I was going to ask if they're all like sitting in their own corner, but they're already doing that anyway. So, I mean, it's not, it's...
That table's got to be real weird, right?
Let's
go to the Wake Forest delegation. We love everything. Let's go to the Virginia delegation. We love everything. Let's go to the Florida State delegation. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
What do we say? I don't know what we're supposed to say.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
We love the big ACC. Yeah.
ACC.
It's
Anyway.
just me. No, that's not. What is the ACC slogan? Do they have one?
ACC, we play basketball.
We still exist.
We're here too.
Yeah.
We're here. Okay.
We still exist. The Pac-12 doesn't.
So while Dabo Swinney is down there at the ACC meetings, he sat in on one of the talk shows on the ACC network, and they decided to bring up the fact that there are across America, in all of college football, there are four teams that did not accept an incoming transfer portal player. The Air Force Academy, West Point Military Academy, and the Naval Academy, and Clemson. One of these things is not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong. Anyway, Clemson, one of four teams, and the only non-military academy to not accept an incoming transfer portal player.
3 of the teams you salute this way. The other one you salute another way, but I don't do that. I don't do that.
Dabo got asked on the ACC network, hey, you didn't sign any transfer portal players, Dabs. Why come? And Dabo said this.
Well, it wasn't really necessarily like a intentional thing. There's a couple guys we looked at, but they got to love you too.
But it also tells us you like where you're at. You like.
Yeah, that's what people. That's the other part of it. And honestly, every player is technically a transfer. We just signed a whole class of guys transferring from high school. So we like our guys. We like our starters. We look at every position and we say, okay, you've got, Coach Reed, you're going to get, 2 corners. Do you want to trade? No, sir. I like my guys. Here's the guys in recruiting. And, there's a lot that goes into it. But we had 127 players go through spring, and 125 are still on our roster post-portal. So maybe we should get like a trophy. And oh, by the way, we don't have many guys leave without a degree. We just had the highest graduation success rate. Like, you asked me that, and we're a part of that group, but we had the highest graduation success rate in all of college football, and the highest, I think, in the Power 5 in the last 20 years. And so, to me, that's good.
So there you go. That's what Dabo had to say. A couple of things from Dabo's answer. Let's start with this. Was it kind of cheesy? Yeah, of course it was. But that's kind of Dabo. I've told you guys that many times. The perspective nationally of Dabo Swinney is that he's kind of corny. He's kind of cheesy. He's kind of a yokel. I've also told you, you shouldn't give a flying what the rest of the nation feels about Dabo Swinney. That's your guy. You should not care if everybody else thinks he's cheesy, corny, whatever. You shouldn't care. He's your guy. He's won you natties. And if you believe he can still do that again, then that's your guy, ride or die. Okay? But to address what Dabo Swinney said, there's a couple of other comments that I want to get to. Number one, I do think we have to point out, because I do think that this has been lost in the sauce, as the expression goes. Clemson did reach out to transfer portal guys. In fact, if I recall correctly, they reached out to like 4 or 5 or 6 different offensive linemen that were in the transfer portal. And none of those transfer portal players selected Clemson as their destination.
Ooh, can we speculate?
If you would like to, that is kind of what we do.
There's either not enough money or they don't like cows.
I'm going to go with the cows thing. I'm going to go with the cows thing. No, what I am going to go with is 2 things. Number one, when the perspective of Dabs is that he's not a big fan of portal guys, then if I'm a portal guy, why do I want to play for him? I'm not saying that's true or it's not. I'm saying that is the national perspective.
To be the first one?
Well, you wouldn't be the first one. Clemson has brought in portal guys before.
Are you serious?
It's very rare.
I have heard people say on these airwaves that they don't do that.
What I am saying, and that is kind of why I'm bringing this up, I do think it has gotten lost in the sauce a little bit that Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tiger Athletic Department and football program did indeed reach out to multiple players within the transfer portal. It's just that none of them selected Clemson as their landing destination.
That's not how he made that sound, though.
Of course it's not.
So that's hypocritical, isn't it?
No, it's not, because he did start his answer off by saying, we did not take guys intentionally. We didn't intentionally end up with 0 transfer portal players. He said, we got to like them and they got to like us too. That is quite literally how he started his response. His response. We got to like them and they got to like us too. And none of them did. But my follow-up editorializing on that would be this. Why would a transfer portal guy sincerely look at Clemson as a destination when the perspective, because again, like it or not, perspective is reality to people. When the perspective of the head coach is that he does not like portal guys, and in the way that he talks about them makes it sound as if he feels that they are guys who lack commitment, guys who lack dedication, guys who lack loyalty.
So is he wrong?
That's up to you to decide. Okay? My opinion's irrelevant. All that matters is the opinion of the players that are in the portal that Clemson targeted and did not get.
I was just curious about your opinion.
Yes, I think he's wrong.
Okay.
I absolutely think he's wrong.
I think he's right. So okay.
It does,
right.
but again, like, we can go back and forth and have many times on this exact discussion.
And hopefully we'll again, although after today, I'm not quite sure. You know.
None of that matters. Hardest thing in the world to recognize is that sometimes your opinion don't mean jack to anybody. And right now, in this case, it's one of them. Because how you feel about a portal guy and how I feel about a portal guy and how Jim Bob feels about a portal guy, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is how portal guys feel about how Dabo feels about portal guys. And when the perspective on your head coach, whether true or not, is that he's out there saying, if you're in the portal, you like dedication. If you're in the portal, you lack commitment. If you're in the portal, you lack whatever, loyalty, whatever. If that's how Dabo makes it sound that he feels about portal guys, why in the hell would a portal guy want to go play for a coach that is roundabout dissing me, as the expression goes?
All right. In my opinion, none of what you just said is the reason. In my opinion, it's money. Because according to a lot of coaches who are no longer coaching because they got out of it because of all the money, notable names, I think that they didn't offer enough.
Well, seems like that's a problem you might want to work on fixing then.
And that's how it works in most jobs.
Yeah.
With paid employees.
Yes, it is.
So you just admitted they're paid employees. I'm out.
Okay, you kind of trapdoored me there a little
like
bit.
You don't ever do that to me.
I rolled a nat 1 on initiative is what just happened right there. That's a nerd joke, and if you got it, we're friends. So if that is the case, and again, it could be any one of these reasons. And it could be any one of these reasons and a different reason for every single player that Dabo reached out to and got none of. For one guy, it could be there's not enough NIL money on the table at Clemson. And let's, again, point out the fact that as Dabo Swinney, the perspective on Dabo Swinney, true or not, irrelevant, the perspective on Dabo Swinney is that Dabo's not an NIL guy. And Dabo's not a guy that's going to help you facilitate NIL money if you end up here. Whereas other coaches are going out of their way to make sure that you have, if not the money, the opportunity to make it. So if you're in the portal and you're a former 4-star recruited offensive tackle, a position of need for the Clemson Tigers, and you got Dabo over here who, again, perspective is reality, is saying, if you're in the portal, you lack commitment and drive and loyalty and dedication, and I'm not going to do anything to help you get NIL money. You're on your own, Chief. And then over here, you got Kalen DeBoer at Alabama who's going, not only am I going to bend over backwards to make sure that you are in a position to make NIL money, but on top of that, I think portal guys are great. Then why would I go play for Dabo when I got this other guy who's pumping me up and gassing me up, as opposed to this guy who's saying everybody who does what I do are losers, effectively? Why would I go play for that guy? So
I looked it up, by the way. Clemson does have NIL collectives.
Of course they do. Of course they do. But there is a difference
but
between...
why would you have one of those when the main source of a collective would be football, right? Why would you have one of those if... well, anyway.
Again, it does not matter what is reality. Of course, Clemson, everybody has an NIL collective. Everybody's got one. But there is a difference between having one and saying, like, I don't know, pulling an example out of a hat here, Mike Norvell, who works with the NIL Collective, although they caught the ban on the NFL NIL Collective for a handful of years because of some, we'll say, impropriety, although I question that. That's a different story for a different time. South Carolina's got one. And Shane Beamer works with the NIL Collective to make sure that they in the football program are hand in hand properly to make sure that guys in the team are able to have opportunity. How many of y'all have heard Dabo Swinney say a good thing about the NIL Collective? I'm not saying say something about, I'm saying a good thing, a driving factor should be the head coach. And I don't feel like he is. And if he's not, and I'm a kid, then why would I go to a place where the coach doesn't support the collective, a collective that is designed to help me make some money? I personally, Rob Brown, apparently a lady of the night, would absolutely want that because that's where the money's at. Okay? Call me the W word if you want to. Sure, I do most things that I do for money. I'm a big fan. I'd like a lot more of it. So every time that Lonzo brings up my 36 jobs, I promise you, I don't do any of them for free. I do them out of love. I do them out of concern. I do them out of care and compassion and growth, but I also don't do them for free.
37. Did you lose a job? It's an off season.
It's off season.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah. Drop one because it's off season. The point here is all of this. I get that Dabo, here's a text. I'll read you a text that we just got in a second ago. In fact, I'm even going to go make sure that I pull up the full text. The full text reads, Dabo wants all roster spots for coaches' kids or certain types of kids. Look at the amount of Daniel Lyons on the roster. Why don't they win state every year if they have that many D1 players? I absolutely do think that Dabo wants certain guys on the roster. And I think Dabo wants Clemson men on the roster. And I respect it. I'm not bashing him for it. I'm not beating him up for it. I'm telling you why you're not getting the portal guys. That's it. I'm not bashing Dabo for it. What I am saying is what I said on yesterday's radio broadcast. To me, now that the portal's been in effect for a few years, now that NIL's been in effect for a few years, to me, all of this, well, it's a new age of college football. That's got to go. No, it's not. No, it's not. We are 3-4 years deep into this now. We are multiple seasons deep. That is not an excuse anymore. Zoe and I have been in the morning slot for 7 months now, 6 months.
Dude, I don't know.
Whatever. Let's say 6 months. If I come in here and I make morning show mistakes 6 months in, do you think I get to go to the boss's office and go, it's a new time slot, boss? Of course, I'm getting used to it. No, it's been 6 months. Get your act together, man.
I think it might be 8.
8 months. It's even worse. Yeah. Get your bleep together, dog. And that's kind of what I'm saying here. So if Dabo wants to, as we said yesterday on the show, if he wants to run it that direction and say, I don't want portal guys, or I only want special portal players, great. That's absolutely fine. It's your program. You have earned the right to run it as you wish. But if you're going to run it that way, I expect results from you running it that way. That's why I've said, Clemson fans, I am holding your feet to the fire this season. This is not something I've done in years past. This isn't my style of radio, but I am committed to this now. I'm holding your feet to the fire. I want preseason, what you consider to be a successful season. I want it marked down. And at the end of the year, if you do not meet that success, then I want to know what you're going to do. Are you going to hold Dabo's feet to the fire? Are you going to let him off the hook because he won you some championships 5 years ago? What are we going to do here? Because he's running it his way, and I'm good with it. But the new era of college football stuff is over. We're past it. It's not new anymore. It's been around for years. We're past it. This response is the problem. I know, by the way, I respect the hell out of the highest graduation rate in college football. Good. That's spectacular. How many of y'all bought tickets to go see graduation this year? How many of you bought tickets to go cheer on your wide receiver getting his degree? 0 of you. Not one. Not one. You fired Randy Shannon at Miami years ago with a high graduation rate and no arrest at Miami. And they fired him. You want results? Or do you want to be able to brag about how great your graduation rates are? You let me know, Clemson fans. Back after this with Fight Club on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. People here still talk about Danny and that title 43 years
Hey,
ago.
he's still getting TV commercials. Have you seen him on them?
Hey, man. If you can ride that rep to a bag, ride that rep to a bag, baby.
What did he just say?
Damn millennials.
I remember when people actually spoke English.
Golly, Kirk Cousins was in Minnesota for 6 years.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like he was there like 3 seasons?
Because you think he's jumped from team to team to team, but he hasn't.
He really hasn't, but it does feel that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, Minnesota was what, his second team, right? Didn't he go from Washington to Minnesota?
I thought there was one more.
There might have been, but I don't think so.
No, you're right. Why does he have that rep? He was with Washington for 5 seasons. He was with Minnesota for 6. 4-time Pro Bowler. NFL completion percentage leader in 2015. Bart Starr Award winner in 23. NFL record. Most game-winning drives in a single season with 8, tied with Matt Stafford. Most fourth-quarter comebacks in a single season, 8, tied with Matt Stafford. A career 67% completion percentage.
Does it list on those stats about how much money he's made compared to other quarterbacks?
$1 billion. I
mean, he's made a lot of money.
Greatest agent. Who is Kirk Cousins' agent?
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Mike McCartney. Cousins' current contract worth $180 million plus a $50 million signing bonus.
And then what did Atlanta do? They went out and drafted the quarterback.
So what?
Because even though he got hurt, you just realize how long he was in Minnesota. I don't know how long he was in Washington.
5.
So
5 in Washington, 6 in Minnesota.
So if he's healthy, stays at a team for a really long time.
So let him. I'm going to give Penix a couple of years. He's also 36 years old.
I know.
He was in Washington at 5 years when he was 25 years old. And I don't know about you, but I am worse at 38 or 39 than I was at 29.
I don't remember 39.
Exactly.
I bet it was a good time for me. I know where I was at 39. Here. Hopefully I make it another day. Sometimes I get worried, really worried. Did I put that in the wrong place? Apparently.
What you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare.
Potential mistake fixed.
CRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax relief IRS. Real solutions for real people.
Control of your listening experience with Rewind on the Odyssey and missed and jaw-dropping moments. No worries. With Rewind, you can relive big moments from Rob Brown, Jim Rome, and more. Don't miss a beat. Just hit Rewind with the Odyssey app on the fan. Upstate.
I just don't think you could have the beat.
Time to jump into the Fight Club, the only place where Rob and I don't fight, which is just weird. I just thought about that. We don't really fight in the Fight Club. We fight everywhere else.
Yeah, we've had a couple of ghosts.
Not
like, many.
Not like the last couple days.
Yeah.
No. All right. Rob wants to talk about Tyson Fury. Here's the reason why I don't want to talk about Tyson Fury, but we can talk about Tyson Fury. It's that I don't think he's losing ever again. He'll retire without losing again. I just don't think anyone can compete with him. And apparently he's in great shape this time, singing Mr. Brightside, which I still don't understand. You guys are so weird that you like that song. I mean, it's voyeurism. I mean, if you obviously everybody, including Tyson Fury, likes to watch. But I know you think Usyk has the best chance to dethrone the Gypsy King. What does Vegas say about that?
Vegas has Tyson Fury listed as a slight fit, like edge favorite. I think they've got, last I checked, in fact, I'll go look at the odds one more time again. But the last I checked, Usyk was a slight dog and slight plus money. I want to say he was checking in at like plus 110 when I looked it up, and I'm working on finding it here on BetMGM, of course, sponsor of the lovely BetQL network. Tyson Fury is minus 120, and Alexander Usyk is plus 120. So it's a slight favor to Tyson Fury. You can go with the split decision draw at 11-1. But minus 120 plus 120 to Fury and Usyk, respectively. As far as this fight goes, I will absolutely agree. I think Tyson Fury is, scratch that. I'm not going to say he's a better boxer. I actually think Alexander Usyk is a better technical boxer than Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a survivor. Tyson Fury is a guy who can take the best shots of some of the best boxers on the planet to the chin and either not go down, or when he does, get back up. We have seen Deontay Wilder hit him with some of the best stuff he's got. He's gone down. He's gotten back up. We have seen Anthony Joshua hit him with some of the best stuff he's got. He goes down and gets back up. He's got a concrete jaw, does Tyson Fury. I think Usyk is a more technical boxer. In fact, if I am in the camp for Alexander Usyk, I am telling him, this isn't a strategy in heavyweight fights. Heavyweight fights, the strategy is make that guy go night-night. For me, if I'm in the camp Usyk, even though I get a little apprehensive about having Alexander Usyk go title distance rounds, I am telling him, if this goes to a decision, I'm good with it, right? If you can stretch this fight out multiple rounds and make this go decision, if it goes to a decision, and it won't, it's a heavyweight fight, but if it goes to a decision, Usyk will win this fight. He is a more technical fighter. The problem he has is if you go in a decision, that's a lot of time for Tyson Fury to make you go night-night. So if you let Fury wear himself out trying to throw big haymaker punches to put you to sleep, and you can steal around here and around there and take it the distance, Usyk wins the fight. The reason Fury is a favorite in this is because he does not get knocked out. You can't knock him out, and Usyk can be knocked out. There's your difference.
Well, I wish, and I know they bring in a lot of money, but I wish boxing and other sports like MMA would follow what other sports are doing and go to stream and be PLEs and not PPVs, because PPVs are too expensive.
I'm buying this one, by the way.
Are you?
This is the boxing match. This is it.
What time of the next day will it be on? Well, no, it's in Saudi Arabia. So it'll be on during the day.
Fight card starts at 2 p.m. That fight probably be around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Yeah, no, I'm buying that fight. That fight will be on while I am doing the show Saturday.
Okay. All right. I didn't think about being in Saudi.
Yep.
I'm still not going to buy it because it's he's going to win. All right. Raw was in Greenville Monday. Rob has yeeted. And and so my question, because I know I have this in my mind, and I think we've had a discussion before, what in wrestling throughout history have you not got to do crowd participation wise? Because that's one of the funnest parts. Even me, Mr. Be Still, and wish everyone would sit down so I could see the show. I have participated in Finn Balor's thing back in the day. I wanted to go there to get to do that. I was a Firefly. Thank goodness, finally, before RIP, Bray Wyatt passed away, one of the last ones to get to do it. What is something you never got to do that you'd want to do?
Oh, that's a great question. I got to see the NWO and the Wolfpack when I was a kid, so I didn't miss out on that. I got to do the I got to do the DX thing with DX one time at a house show in Pensacola, Florida, 100,000 years ago. So I got to do that. I got to do Daniel Bryan's Yes Chant at WrestleMania 30, one of my favorite sporting events of my lifetime. I've gotten to sing Seth Rollins' theme song. That was great. Dude,
it's not really singing. You're just woeing. But I mean,
still great. I'm struggling because I go to wrestling shows. I've been going to wrestling shows my whole life. I'm trying to think of something big crowd participation wise that I've missed. And
it doesn't sound like
I know there is something. I just don't know what it is.
I mean, you've been present for quite a few.
Yeah. When I was a kid, when I was in my what do you call it? What do you call it from when you're like a kid, like 3 to 8 and you're in my childhood? We had my dad had a friend, Mr. Butch and Brenda Slashewski. They worked for my dad, and they were huge wrestling fans. So my dad liked wrestling, so we would all go to wrestling shows together. And at the time, Pensacola wasn't big on the map, so we got house shows all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But still, house shows, they trot out the stars to let them stay
some
in
of the
shape.
fun is at a house show because they loosen up a little bit more.
Hell yeah. I am trying. I don't know why I turned. Hell yeah. I am trying to think of some of the biggest crowd participation things, and I'm struggling to come up with one that I wasn't fortunate enough to get to do at least once at a house show.
All right, I can name one that you haven't got to do yet.
Okay.
And this happened last night in AEW. I got to jump into this. It was a chant that was chanted at Chris Jericho, and it was, "Please retire."
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think I was very excited when Jericho became a part of AEW because listen, out of the gate, a lot of great up-and-coming indie wrestlers that I was very excited were going to get TV time, but they also needed that star power to get the attention. The problem down the pipe is not that Jericho is there. It's that any time that anyone gets any momentum at all, Jericho is immediately attached to it, and he will change an entire gimmick. We made a mistake. Me made a mistake in talking about how much credit Chris Jericho should get for being constantly able to evolve himself.
Reinvent himself, yeah.
Because the problem is now every time anybody gets over at all, Jericho's like, oh, I got a gimmick that I can attach to that. And it's like, it's bogged down Hook. It's bogged down Big Bill. It's bogged down Swerve. It's bogged down Hangman. It's bogged down everybody. It's bogged down Ricky Starks, who was on his way to superstardom at one point. And that guy's leaving to go to WWE in the near future because Jericho bogged him down so much it took all of his heat away.
All right, Damian Priest sat right over there, and I'm pointing where he was sitting in that chair. Are you okay with Damian Priest heading towards being a babyface? And can he be a babyface and be in Judgment Day?
Am I okay with him being a babyface? Yes, I am.
He started out as a babyface, if I recall, in NXT.
He did. I think he heel turned real quick, though.
Yeah.
But I think he briefly debuted as a babyface, really quick heel turn to the other direction.
He was a babyface when he was with Bad Bunny the first time.
Correct. And then obviously he was they had a heel turn going back the other direction as well for the Puerto Rico fight, which was, again, that story he told about having to fight to get that show and how much it meant to him was incredible. Again, podcast available at thefanupstate.com. If you missed our 40-minute conversation with Damian Priest, I keep wanting to call him Damian Archer, Damian Priest this week. I am good with him being a babyface. I think he could be a babyface. I think they lean into kind of the background and some of the stories that he told us to make that happen. On top of that, I think if he does go babyface, the very first feud he has is remnants of the Judgment Day, including Dom Mysterio.
Well,
and I think that could be phenomenal.
He's already kind of turned when he's going up against Drew, which is going to happen. He's going to end up being the babyface, 100%. And Drew's going to be the heel.
By the way, troll heel Drew McIntyre is the best thing in the world right now.
He finally found something that works
so
for him.
good.
All right, last thing. Liv Morgan's body cam footage has been released from where she was arrested several months ago. In it, the policeman is reading through her diary.
Real creepy, dude.
Yes.
Real not cool.
And then he finds her SmackDown card because her real name is not Liv Morgan. And he's like, oh, and then he fanboys about it.
Yep.
Is that
real not cool?
Why would you release that now? Because she's on the edge of doing something really big. And it's odd timing for that to be released.
I don't think it has anything to do with wrestling. I don't think it's connected to anything to do with wrestling. I think that is probably the result of some sort of internal investigation that somebody put a FOIA act in on that body cam footage and they let it go. What I will say is that is creepy as hell. And as I told somebody at the show on Monday, you know what the only thing that makes me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan is? other wrestling fans. Honestly, it's the only thing that makes me embarrassed to be wrestling fans is some of the wrestling fans that are out there being connected to these weirdos, and no one is immune from that.
All right, speculation, and we speculated this that she's going to try. It's a love triangle. It's a derailing of the Judgment Day. Will this, you think, release of this footage cause them to change their mind about what they're doing with Liv?
No, I don't think so. I think Liv made a mistake. I think Liv has done her punishment
I
for
think
that.
the hook is quicker now with Triple H in charge than it was when Vince was there.
Agree with that, but I think this is one of those spots where Liv got embarrassed. Let's be real. She was out of the picture for a very long time, and when she came back, she has, with this Liv Revenge Tour thing, organically gotten over. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not a big Liv Morgan fan. I don't think she's all that great, to be honest with you, but she is over, and that's all that matters. I think they can backseat this and make it, I don't want to say go away, but like I think she's kind of served the time. I will say, if anything like it happens again, she gets the hook. But she also got the benefit of being fast-tracked by having Becky get injured there for a little while. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But she is, as of right now, the #1 seller of merch of all women in that company. And at the end of the day, whether it's Paul Levesque or anybody else, if you're selling merch, you're going to the top of the card. Welcome. Every decision is a money decision. Texter says, shocker, 1%er Rob can't think of anything he hasn't done. I know what you tell me. My life's awesome, and you should all be jealous. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I wanted to say it, but, it's didn't want to.
Whoa!
I just talked about how we didn't really fight in that segment, so, If you haven't seen that video, it is creepy. The cop going through her diary. Some of the things in her diary she actually has accomplished, though. That's kind of cool. You caught up on X-Men?
No.
Dude.
I wanted to watch it last night, then I got caught up in the playoff games. So
I won't put that on there then.
Do what?
I said I won't put that on there then.
I have been avoiding Twitter as much as possible for the past 12 hours. I haven't looked at it during the show.
All that, and he'll still know what's trending and what the X because he's that good. I thought I fixed it. I did.
Run it back! Run it back! So good, we're doing it again. What didn't we get to? There's something we didn't get to.
I swear I fixed it. You even heard me say that I fixed it. I think I'm calling sabotage.
Like the Beastie Boys.
Nothing that important.
All right, let's get to a couple more stories before we get up out of here for the day, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about the ACC meetings a little bit earlier in the day. They're taking place down in Amelia Island, Florida. Right now, of course, you have the unruly children of FSU and Clemson, and probably North Carolina a little bit up there as well, while you have Jim Phillips and the folks trying to get everything together and create what he referred to as a, quote, really good ending, end quote. One of the big conversations that is going on right now is the new CFP distribution model, where the SEC and Big Ten will each get about 29% of the annual distribution, with the ACC and Big 12 receiving around 17 and 15%, respectively. The SEC and Big Ten schools will earn in excess of $70 million annually, with the ACC at least $20 million behind. Florida State Athletic Director Michael Alford went on the record and said, with the CFP numbers, we are now talking about being $40 million behind every single year. And that is correct from what we're able to tell. That is correct. Jim Phillips was asked about that as well. He said, quote, we're not standing still. We're trying to address that gap. Great. How? You see what the problem is here? How? This is why I am curious as to how long the ACC and Florida State, the ACC and Clemson will be fighting each other, because you got the folks in the ACC that are out there saying, oh, we're not standing still. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do that. And yet there doesn't seem to be a plan. There doesn't really seem to be a plan. There doesn't seem to really be anything other than add a couple more members. And again, I told you, to me, they didn't add SMU and Stanford and Cal because they were going to boost revenue in the conference. No. They added those schools to increase the number. You got to get under a certain threshold in order for the television contracts to be vacated and all that. And when those schools got ditched and left out in the cold, and the ACC brought them in, do you think they were going to turn around and immediately vote to leave the conference and disband the conference? No, of course not. They just found a place where they are going to get a payout larger than what they would have gotten had they stayed pat. So, of course, they're not going to vote, because they're not. Those schools aren't catching SEC or Big Ten invites. And if you're not catching an SEC or a Big Ten invite, you're absolutely not leaving the Atlantic Coast Conference. Those schools were brought in to lock up Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, and whoever else might be willing to move. But here's the thing. At the end of all of this, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. The SEC and the Big Ten have created a world. I'm not blaming them, bashing them, hating on them for it, because this is a dog-eat-dog world, as the expression goes. You're either making more money or you're losing. Those are the only two options. That is the world that we live in. Quoted in an article popped up on Yahoo Sports written by Ross Dellinger. He quoted, as he is covering ACC Media Days live in Amelia Island, Florida, he quoted one ACC administrator is saying, quote, "Now look, it would have been the smart thing to do. The SEC and Big Ten have cut us open and they're just watching us bleed out." End quote. Here's the thing. I have a sincere question. What's the other option? What can be done? I have said, I'm pretty sure since I got here, coming up on 5 years ago, I'm pretty sure I have said the 2-conference model is inevitable. There's no world in which we don't go in that direction. There's no world in which we don't end up there. I don't like it. In fact, I despise it, but it doesn't matter how I feel. It does not matter. I gotta get a ride. Did I ever grab that?
You've done this multiple times today, either towards me or towards yourself. Yes.
Yeah, I know. But I got
Rudy Poo candy ass. Whoa, 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 whoa.
No, that's not
You
it.
sick freak.
No, that's not it. No, I actually haven't grabbed a. It doesn't matter what you think. Guess I got a job to do after the show. Point here is, doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what you think.
You don't need that.
It doesn't matter what you think. It's irrelevant what you think. All that matters is the Big Ten and the SEC have a way to make more money. And right now, watching the ACC die is long-term investment for those two conferences.
You want a solution for the ACC? I have a solution for the ACC.
Fire away.
Dissolve.
I mean, that's not a solution for the ACC. That's a solution for Clemson and Florida State and North Carolina, potentially Virginia, Miami, Duke, whoever can catch an invite.
It's going to be hard for them to make equal money no matter what.
Oh, let's be clear, impossible for them to make equal money. It is going to be impossible for them. But this is what I pointed out in the past. The folks in the ACC office, they don't care. They don't care. They want that conference to stay relevant. They want that conference to, exist so that everybody in that conference can keep making money. And for the record, the smaller schools in the conference, the less crown jewel conference members want it to exist as well. Because again, there is a world in which we end up with 2 college footballs. You have the SEC and the Big Ten and whatever governing structure they end up under, whether it's the NCAA or they decide, screw it, we're going to go off on our own and create our own governing body and we'll just run college football apart from everything else, which is, again, I think the direction that we end up going in. And then everybody else, Syracuse and Bowling Green and all those schools, they end up in a lesser world of college football. They end up in the UFL of college football. And you'll have ESPN and Fox and CBS that are spending millions and millions of their own dollars to carry the games of Alabama and Clemson and Florida State and South Carolina. And then you'll have everybody else that enters this new world where they got to figure out how to survive without it. And again, it will happen because, as we've pointed out, smaller scale college football has been happening forever in this country, right? The Furmans and the Woffords have been playing football for as long as any of us can remember. And they don't have the benefit of television contracts from ESPN and CBS and Fox and NBC. They don't have that, but they figure out how to put those dollars together to make sure that they can play football. It's still going to happen. It's just that all of the fanfare that comes along with all of it is going to go away. And every now and then, some of the schools like Syracuse are going to go from being schools playing in a major conference to the schools that once or twice a year have to feed themselves to an SEC or a Big Ten school so that they can catch a check for a couple of milli and float everything else in their program. And that's all this administrator is saying, because the SEC and the Big Ten don't have to do anything. They just got to sit back, collect bigger and bigger checks, watch the other conferences die, pick the carcasses of who they want, and then we will be in that landscape of 2-conference college football. It is the future.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
And the future of this show is me asking Rob what the X is going on, and he will let all of us know because he knows everything, not only ball, but everything else. The first thing that's Xing is Deshaun Watson.
LaMelo Ball, you're off the hook,
I was
dog.
going to say, way to go. I was going to ask you if you were going to apologize.
LaMelo, you're off the hook. No, it's still a bad tattoo. It's just this is somehow worse. Deshaun Watson, because right now, for whatever reason, the new fad with athletes is like full back tats, like complicated. Anthony Davis got one of Anthony Davis. We all talked about LaMelo's on the stream with the what was it, the whatever one, Fearless or whatever his back tattoo said. Deshaun is the latest to join that fad. He got a full back piece, and on that back piece, right in the middle, are 3 rings. One of them is a ring for his high school state championship. One of them is a ring from his Clemson college football national championship. And the third is a Super Bowl ring for the Super Bowl that he, and this is true, I looked it up, hasn't won yet. He tattooed a blank Super Bowl ring on his back so that he can go in and fill that ring in when he inevitably wins it. Ladies and gentlemen, I admire confidence. I admire the belief in yourself to accomplish great things. I am right there with you, but this is kind of taking it a little too far. This is you know how every year they got that, like the local news loves to find the story of that one guy who went and before the season started got the Clemson National Champions 2024 tattoo, and then they ride that out through the end of the year, and that's a story because you know either way that guy's either going to have the greatest day of his life or we're going to make fun of him for like a very long time. Deshaun just did this with his whole ass back. Incredible.
It is a trend. Eventually, it's going to be the norm, whether you like it or not. And
I don't care about getting the tattoos. Live your best life. It's you. Express yourself how you want. You have my full belief. Color your hair, paint your fingernails, get a tattoo on your back. I don't care. Live your best life. But getting a tattoo of a Super Bowl ring when you have not, it's not like Deshaun's been knocked out of the AFC Championship game a few times. You've never sniffed one, dog. What are you doing?
What's that thing on your forearm?
It's a tattoo.
What's it say?
It says stay focused. It is to stay focused. For sure. You know what I did not go do? I did not go tattoo Rob Brown, nationally syndicated multimillionaire radio show host, on my arm. Because that would have been ridiculous.
Your arm's not that big. It wouldn't have fit. That's with really small print. The next thing that's Xing is Happy Gilmore 2.
Netflix has ordered a sequel to Happy Gilmore. Which explains the reason why Adam Sandler the other day went on Instagram and did the Happy Gilmore golf swing on a golf course and actually kind of cranked the golf ball when he did it.
He can still do it. He looks like he's in pretty good shape.
Got a rip. And, of course, called out Shooter McGavin at the end of it.
Who has answered and said, I'm back.
He's incredible. Yes. The guy who played Shooter McGavin, and I don't even know his name, but I will by the end of this because he's an incredible dude.
McDonald?
By the way, from what I understand.
Is it Christopher McDonald?
No idea. What I do know is that if you see this cat in an airport or whatever, if you meet this guy out and about, he will 100% take a photo and do the shooter thing with you. It's phenomenal. I love this cat, and I'm very glad this is happening.
It is Christopher McDonald. Thank you very much.
Outstanding. I will tell you, I am not a big Adam Sandler guy. Happy Gilmore, I loved.
He's hit or miss. I mean, the big movies like that, like Waterboy, I mean, those are often quoted. And
absolutely.
And, Waterboy you should love because it's
Gatorade.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Does it bother you that it's not going on the big screen, but it's going on Netflix?
No.
A lot of his stuff lately has been going on Netflix.
Has been. Here's the thing. Movie theaters going by the wayside. Streaming is where it's at nowadays.
Yeah,
it's more cost effective. You're going to get more watch out of it. And on top of that, it costs me, as we pointed out, we've had this conversation before. It costs me $90 for me and the fiance to go to a movie in a given night. I pay $17 a month to have Netflix and I get 1,000 movies. Like, it just makes sense to stay home and buy a big ass TV.
All right. The last thing that's Xing is Ricky Starks.
Yeah, that dude's going to WWE.
He also says he doesn't know why he's not on TV.
Yeah, no, he's going to WWE. You don't openly complain like that unless either A, you're basically going, Tony, you re-sign me and you put me on TV for a lot more money, or I'm going to check out my friend Hunter. By the way, you know who Ricky Stark's best friend is? Cody freaking Rhodes. You don't think Cody's willing to put a good word to Paul Levesque over there? Of course he is. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow for a Freaky Friday edition of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah.
Only freaky because the word Friday is being said.
All right, dudes and dudettes. We are here, are done, are over. Goodbye.
Well, we're here and done.
We're here and done. That is correct. We are both of those things. Yeah. I hope you all have a spectacular rest of your day.
Oh, yeah. Like, really, dude.
I have to go record a bunch of commercials today. Yay. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks for being here. You're all spectacular people. We appreciate you immensely. Tell your friends about us. Help us grow the show and come back tomorrow. Goodbye.